The following is a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. From newly renovated playing halls, elite events are back with Clutch Chess Legends in St. Louis. Ribbons were cut and a new era begun with two of the game's finest facing off. Garry Kasparov got the first ever win in the new club, taking the lead with a BLITZ victory. It was an eventful debut, but things are just getting started. Day 2 of Can't Miss Chess. Coming up next.
Chess fans, and welcome to newly reopened St. Louis Chess Club in the capital of chess in America. It's day number 2 of the Clutch Chess, the Legends, the match between Garry Kasparov and Fischer Anand. And you know, in this Clutch Chess format, the pressure builds with every round, the tension is getting higher, and the players are pushing their limits. So let's go to the studio and follow the match all together with Maurice, Yasser, and Dash.
Day 1 of Clutch Chess, the Legends had all the fireworks we would expect from two of the best to ever play the game. Garry Kasparov has a slight lead over India's Viswanathan Anand, but it all could change today as we present Day 2 of exciting Fischer Random chess from the newly renovated St. Louis Chess Club, and it all starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome into the studio. I'm your host, James Dash, and happy as ever to be joined by the two grandmasters in Yasser, Seirawan, and Maurice Ashley to kick off Day 2 of Clutch Chess, the Legends. Yasser, reflections on Day 1 and thoughts ahead of Day 2.
Well, thank you, James. And hello, everyone. Welcome to our live coverage of the Legends. I tell you, for me, it just does my heart good to see these two greats battling over the chessboard once again. Garry and Vishy brought back old memories. It was just a great, fun time, by the way, gentlemen. I enjoyed yesterday.
A very fun time. Maybe a trip down memory lane for some, a new experience for some of us as well, but a one that I'm grateful to have. Maurice, it was a tough finish yesterday for Vishy, though, and not capitalizing on perhaps a small winning advantage. What are your thoughts coming out of that and hopes for Day 2?
I think that is the real theme here. After a couple of games, it seems as though Vishy had his chances, and then losing that third game that he did not have to, as we see him there looking a bit more jovial than he did, because Game 4, he was up an entire piece as Garry blundered his earliest move, 8, and Vishy was not able to seal the deal. He looked dejected with his interview with Anastasiya afterwards, but it looks as though there he is with his second for the beginning of the match. He seems a bit more in good spirits. I'm happy to see that. Hopefully, he'll be able to bounce back, play some good chess.
Yeah, neither player in their histories as professionals is probably inexperienced in tough situations. And so, good to see him in high spirits looking ahead towards day number 2. But he does have a little bit of a hole to climb out of. It was that third game of the day, BLITZ game number 1, where Garry Kasparov was able to take a decisive victory and put that one in his win column, bringing himself up to 2.5 to the 1.5 of Viswanathan Anand on the other side. You also see there the first bit of bonus money was delivered to one of our players. Garry already with a cool $1,000 in his pocket heading into Day 2, but still plenty of runway left for either player to make a statement here on our second day of action. Now we see Fabiano Caruana and Garry Kasparov as well having their little pre-match discussion. No position revealed just yet, so nothing necessarily for them to discuss when it comes to strategy, but as well, smile on the face there.
Yeah, I'm also time management. In the Rapids versus the Blitz, that's such a crucial part of it, too.
And seeing Fabi as your assistant.
Not bad.
That ain't bad. It doesn't hurt having the number 3 player on the planet, a former world championship candidate himself. This guy knows a thing or two about this, and they have battled in Chess 960, so that's real help to Garry. We did mention it was Lee Lim who was helping Vishy, and we're getting ready for that reveal.
Exactly. Fabi coming off of a very hot victory here. This is the reveal, Day 2, position 952. So just about the final
960.
position you can find, exactly, when it comes to chess 960. We'll get that reveal up on the screens for you so we can get a bit of a closer look as to the landscape of our battlefield. What, if anything, jumps out to you two? Well, this right now.
Switch it up.
Switch it up.
That
Now,
bishop
how
on
about that?
E1 is again the awkward bishop.
We've got another awkward bishop. We do have a cornered queen. That's going to become, I think, a very crucial piece to unlock early on. We don't want to see it treated the same way that we saw a number of our cornered bishops treated just yesterday, Maurice.
Exactly.
And all pawns protected as well.
Right.
So no weak points in the individual positions that you say, let's target this early as white. So this will be about harmony, very quickly establishing what is the most harmonious setup you can have, because there are no obvious targets to use to bounce off of.
Yeah, a good amount of time for our players to discuss the position. We'll come back and talk through it a little bit more. Before we do that, let's go ahead and break down the format for you, as we are smack dab in the middle of our tournament here at Clutch Chess, the Legends. It's 12 rounds of Chess 960, with 4 of those rounds having already been played. There are no draw offers before the completion of Black's 60th move, and every day sports 2 rapid games followed by 2 blitz games. So 25-10 to kick things off, playing each side of the position, and then 5-3 to close things out here in games 7-8 on day number 2. This scoring system is where things get really interesting, though, as the points ramp up from day to day to day. That'll take us to the schedule. Let's take a look at what we have in store. It is day 2. Thursday the 9th. 2 rapid games followed by 2 blitz. Tomorrow we conclude things with another 4 games on Friday the 10th. As you probably know, having been already tuned in, we kick things off at 11:40 a.m. Central Time. That will be the same tomorrow. So same time, same place, mark your calendars. You won't want to miss it. Now, what's at stake? That's perhaps more important than the schedule itself. $144,000 in total prize fund, with $70K to the winner, $50K to the runner-up. But that means there's $24K unaccounted for. If tied, of course, we will go ahead and split those 2 prize pools evenly. But this is where the interesting stuff comes in. $24,000 in play as bonus money. We've already seen $1,000 of that awarded yesterday with that single decisive victory from Garry Kasparov, and the remaining $3,000 from yesterday's draws has already been pushed over to games 11 and 12. Let's take a look at those counters rack on up.
Let's see there, the money is at $4,500 after the draw in game 4, as the other monies came from games 1 and 2. So it started at $3K. It's now $3K each, which totals $6K. It's now up to $9K total, and it's only going to get bigger and bigger as draws occur.
Exactly. With $2,000 dedicated per win today, that means any draw splits $1,000 apiece into that 11 and 12. So we're going to see the stakes continue to rise, and that's one of the beautiful things about this. Usually we're afraid of the draws. If anything, it just makes all of your attention get focused towards those the home stretch, if you will. But yesterday we did have that one decisive game that delivered the cool $1,000 in bonus money. I'm curious your thoughts, Maurice. Talk to me about what we saw in that first decisive game in the Blitz before we relive some of the highs and lows.
Yes, that was a big game indeed, the one game that separated the players. And the challenge was for Vishy to keep his cool, but he did not in this game. He saw he had an opportunity, at least he thought he did, but Garry defended in Herculean fashion and was able to bounce back and seal the deal. Let's take a look at what transpired in that third game yesterday.
Agreed. I think that Vishy, this is the best he could have hoped for, as we saw the position a few moves ago. I don't think Garry's move C7, C6 was perfect. I think A6 followed by C5 just to stop the setup. Now, I'm not saying White's out of the woods either. I mean, I'm still seeing a 3-result game.
Yasser, 30 seconds left for Garry.
That's the issue.
I mean, that's a minute edge. Garry's going to have to pick them up and put them down really quickly, as Vishy is just playing normal, natural moves. This game is, look, Eval Bar says dead even. This is a war now, Garry, with very little time to explode anything in this position. He sacked the pawn.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. King E3, how do you follow it up? Okay, now he wants to play G3 and recapture with the rook. So, rook to g1.
Gotta slide it back over, yeah.
Rook to g1, g3. I can play the move h3.
If anything, importantly, I'd say he's built some time back.
He's played rook
But he
g1.
doesn't have to do anything if you play rook g1. That's what I was going to say. What do I have to do? I don't have to do anything. He's challenging Vishy. Find a move right now. I may be down a pawn, but what's your pawn break? How do you make anything happen? I always have g3 as counterplay, and Vishy is looking around as his time now has actually dipped down to 24 seconds, 22, I'm seeing
really?
on the clock. He's less than
But
Garry.
he's given the pawn back. d5. Oh,
And
my
here we
God.
go as the pawn is on
Oh,
g3.
threatening mate in 1.
Whoa, it's a mate threat.
It's a mate threat. Rook f6 is check and mate,
He's
everybody.
got to play rook g6. This
He's
position
done it.
is wild.
Okay, hold it, hold it, hold it. If we take, isn't it bridesmaids? H3 and D4?
And a capture on g6, and now
Black
it's time.
could be winning with H3.
He is winning.
That's what I was thinking.
Gary's got two passers. They're wide, and he just has to deal with one passer.
G7.
But Garry trying to figure out which one to play first.
H2,
And now
H2.
D3. And that's it. He's
Oh,
won the game.
Wow.
what a turnaround. Oh, my goodness.
A turnaround indeed. An amazing game. Garry looked very satisfied as his defense just held and then turned into offense, winning a big-time game. We see him there with Fabiano Caruana as they try to figure out today's position. By the way, they play all 4 games, exact same position, so they have to figure out white and black right now, because once these 15 minutes are over, Fabi leaves, and then Garry doesn't see him again, can't speak to him again, can speak to no one at all. So that's a lot of work they have to put in right now.
Exactly, and you see them putting in the work at this very new position. And I've been, as we've coming in the show, I've been looking at this position, and actually no clear strategy jumps out to me. For me, I don't like the bishops. So I'm thinking c4 and or d4 is my opening moves. So c4 unleashes this bishop, grabs a bit of the center, but I really want to go c4, d4, bishop e3. The knights will find squares. But then how do you bring the queen out of the corner? You're going to play h4. So a lot of opening moves, and I still haven't gelled into what I think makes the most sense. Jump in, gentlemen. What do you think about this opening position? 9:52.
9:52. We almost made it to the end of the rainbow, but not quite.
Right.
I'm looking at it and I'm agreeing with you, Yaz. This does not have the harmony of yesterday's position.
Yes.
And looking at this one now, the bishops for sure, even, the queen is an issue. Getting that bishop off the back rank, it's probably the most sense to develop the king side as quickly as you can. You might see a king sitting next to a queen after castles happens. The queen might still be on h1, but one of those things when your queen is in the corner, you do not want to have it stuck in that corner. You think, oh, it'll come out at some point. You don't want that to happen. And we see here the center in Garry's and Fabi's game has already blown open. What a dynamic way to play right in the opening stages.
Well, they're looking at some e4, e5, knight f3, sacrifice of a pawn for black, as if black is the one. e4, e5, knight f3, knight takes. That is really a weird gambit idea. It looks like a very strange piece.
Right, a forward knight that may end up not having a way back. Well, it looks like it will be able to go to c4 or g4. I don't see any tricks getting at that king in any weird way. The one square that you do pay attention to is the square the king is the one that defends, the only one the king defends, is what I should say.
b7.
I should say the one that only the king defends. There we get my grammar right. And b7 is indeed such a square, but there's no way to double up on it. This queen does aggress this diagonal, but who else is going to put any
So,
power?
for example,
we have to get another piece there.
Just as you were describing, c4, e5, not the only move, of course, g3. We'll just make a reasonable move. And then your point, Maurice, you do have a chance to put a little pressure
Agreed.
on the
And-
b7 pawn.
And now you would have to play the move c6, it looks like.
Exactly.
Right?
Of
So after
course.
c6, we can play knight e3, you think? To maybe
Yeah.
shut down d5?
Yeah, sure. Knight e3, knight f6. And then the funny part is you put your bishop on g2 like you're a good fianchetto would, and then your queen is like,
She's
hey,
there forever."
I'm the all-star. What are you doing to me? James, what are you doing to me? I mean, you're supposed to get me in the game early, man.
Exactly. I mean, we kind of saw it a bit yesterday in game one, where one bishop kind of got locked away for a very substantial portion of the game, and you're not going to want to see this time around. Another thing I'll call out is yesterday, somewhat thematically, the number of times I heard uttered from one of the two of you, this is starting to transpose to what feels like a standard game of chess, or it's
Right.
feeling quite similar to something you could build in a standard game of chess.
Right.
But the way you're talking about this position so far doesn't sound like we're ever getting to a position that feels like you could get there with
Not-
your position 5-1-8.
Not as early as we did yesterday. The players were very good at getting a familiar pattern on the board. This one is going to be a lot harder because the queen, you know, you'd like to move the knights, move your queen to e1, get out of the way to castle.
So let me ask you this. Which is your favorite piece here? Which one is the one you're most suited to working with, and which is your least favorite piece here on the starting rank?
My least favorite piece is the bishop on e1.
Okay.
That one. I love the rook on d1, by the way. It's just like, okay, I'm ready to support d4, e4, and let's go.
Right.
Like
Normally you got a castle, then slide it over. Now we can pawn break.
Right. So, like, e4, like, I would just love a nondescript move. Let's just throw this one down, as if Black wants to develop his queen, right? Like, you could really start to see, almost in an instant, the pieces coming to life. Like, oh, let me just do one more.
You are greedy.
Yeah, and now
How'd you get all the centers?
like, look, you can just see that White's ready to go knight.
After you
Brilliant.
gave him the whole
thing.
center and everything to open up?
Well, you have to have this fantasy of where do my pieces belong.
Right.
And I'm seeing bishop c3, I'm seeing bishop c2, and I'm seeing knight f3, knight e3. So that's the fantasy.
Okay, but he's gonna-
Right.
He's
That's the pie in the sky scenario.
That's exactly.
Right there.
But you need it. You need it in you have this mental picture. So let's try it again. So if I go e4 with the pie in sky idea, would you play e5?
Sure.
Okay,
Let's do it.
that's the standard move,
Seems
right?
natural.
Okay, now Garry in his repertoire has the Scotch. So let's just imagine, for argument's sake, knight c6. So Garry, for him, he would find this position with a pawn on e4 and knight on d4 as a very natural consequence of the opening. Like, he would look at this position and say, hey, you know what? It feels familiar. I know what I'm doing here. I'm going to bring my bishop to c3, queen to e1, and away.
Could we just play a few moves here?
Please.
Just to
From this
throw
moment.
stuff on the board.
Sure.
Would d5 be a bad move here?
I would,
Especially since you can't play e5.
because the knight is
the knight
Knight is
takes.
controlling that square.
Exactly.
What I'm trying to do is get that bishop off of e8,
right.
and then potentially castle.
I was
But-
trying to do the same thing myself. Like, I was trying to get my bishops off the back line. Here, in my mind, Maurice, I'm looking at bishop f5 with a check.
Yes.
To try to.
Well, then I
mess
play
things
bishop
up.
d7.
Okay,
so
yeah,
may
you
not
can block me.
Be
Yeah.
the worst in the
Right.
world. Again, those queens look terrible.
They look
Yeah.
awful.
Exactly.
But maybe if you could get your bishop out in that fluid formation that you just
Right,
played,
knight
if you can get
f3.
your bishop out, your queen can slide over, move
Yes.
on up, then castle.
Yes.
Maybe that's what you do. You have to solve the problem of the knights,
Right.
and then solve the problem of the bishop on e1, e8.
Exactly.
And then move your queen somehow.
So I'm thinking if the knight moves, for argument's sake, we just put the knight
If you
back
just
for a
do
moment.
that. Yeah.
And I was
our level
ready
of-
to check.
Okay. I was about to say, what's our level of concern now for how exposed the kings feel? We've vacated a lot of space in front of both of our kings.
It's
Yeah.
a good question,
Yeah.
but the thing is, with pieces always able to block and interfere with the action, your
Yeah.
king is fairly safe because you've controlled the center, so it's
Yeah.
not a major worry. And here you're prepared to possibly move the queen and then castle the king once the queen gets off the back.
Well, moments away from getting answers to all the questions we've been asking, as both of our legends have had their time with their quote-unquote seconds
Right.
for the 3-day tournament that we have in store for us. I will note for everybody that they are swapping sides of the board from what they started with just yesterday. So
Right.
yesterday in Game 1, Garry started with the black and Anand had the white. Today it will be Anand with the black and Garry with the white to start things off.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow we'll reset to what we had just yesterday. So maybe a bit more of a reactive approach here for Viswanathan and Anand on the first game of the day. Garry, the one who's going to have to take the impetus.
Yeah, the thinking for that, the arbiter Chris Bird explained, was that maybe you have a bit of an edge having the black pieces in the first game. So if you're always having the black pieces at the start of the play, maybe you're building up an advantage. So mix it up. Just mix it up and let the other player have black in the first day as well.
Discussed with the players and agreed upon with the players just yesterday. A nice
fair.
little, small change coming into it all. But it also keys into one of the things we've talked a little bit about, the idea that you play the same starting position across all 4 games of the day. A very unique thing, I think, at least from my experience in Chess 960, where typically it's one and done. You move on, and now you're evaluating an entirely new position. You don't have time to learn from your own mistakes. You don't have time, to sit back and say, you know what, I noticed something. Now I have a new trick to play, or maybe I have a new idea. I liked everything up to this point in the game, but now I'm going to go a different way, a fork in the road, maybe.
And it happens just on one day, because if they were to go home from day 1 and get that first starting position, then they'd be able to get their engines out, rev it up, and then get all these moves. They come back with engine preparation. So they don't have that opportunity just on the one day, but it's still 4 games, as you mentioned, and they get some kind of comfort level. Now it's going to be 4 games today, and they'll see if they can learn from any games 1, 2, and 3 of the day I'm speaking of. I see Vishy at the board a little bit early, waiting for Garry. Garry is someone who doesn't like to sit at the board, as we have seen, and we got a Garry watch. He's definitely in the building, folks, so don't worry about that. But he is somewhere, as we see the playing hall of the U.S. Women's Open, and now we've come
Perhaps
back.
he just got lost in the beauty of the renovations. It's easy to kind of get distracted by how beautiful the space looks, but he has made his way to the board.
In terms of castling, by the way, because that's going to be a key issue here. In terms of castling, I always like my king next to the knights. So if you imagine knight f3, knight g4 for g3 for white, you want your king on g1. And we do have e4 on the board, as we expected. And we did see Fabi and Garry looking at a very strange-looking pawn sacrifice. Remember, we were just seeing them looking at a position like this, and you were saying, Maurice, yeah, you get the knight back to c4 and or g4, and I think Garry's idea was to lure this pawn into a potential of g4.
Am I the only one who's a little bit
Why are we thinking?
wondering why is it that the e4 is played, looked like a pretty natural move, and Vishy has already gone into over 30-second thing. And he was sitting at the board before Garry sat there. What's going on?
And if I'm not wrong, when we got a quick look at his board in working through the position, e4 was on there at one point. So it's not like this is a first move that wasn't discussed to some degree.
I think the answer there was he saw that there were 3 major approaches to e4. The first was e5 and just keeping the balance, and we saw some kind of a Scotch game. The second is this choice, kind of going for French. Like we could have a situation of d4, d5, e5. And you know, in the French, you have this usual light square bishop problem. Well, I don't see that so much as a problem anymore. You get to play playing bishop h5. So the second issue was the French. And actually, another third issue, once again, you would like to play d5 and not recapture with a rook, but recapture with a knight. Hence, a situation like this would play perfectly into black strategy. And Vishy spent 30 seconds. Which approach would I like? He eventually chose the French defense. Did you like his choice, Maurice?
May I make this point?
Sure.
Please.
E6 has been played in 4 of the 5 games, 3
From
yesterday, and
Yeah.
1 today after
Right.
E4. French players like yourself.
Rejoice.
Rejoicing.
Quite
It's
happy
a
to
golden
see this.
period for French defense players.
Well, for all the time that Vichy ate up, we're going to eat into Garry's clock in very much the same way.
Right.
Perhaps a little bit of a surprise for him. Some more tepid move here, less committal, reaching for that E6.
Well, you notice that Garry hasn't responded instantly with the D4, D5, E5 traditional French defense setups, because I think Garry is warming up to the fact that, you know, the pawn is supposed to restrict Black's play. But after F6 followed by bishop G6, you might regret having given up the square F5. By the way, I'm going to put a move or two on the board if you don't mind for just a moment. And, you know, we've been talking about this queen on H8. In a French defense where you're trying to secure the F5 square, queen suddenly is very nicely ready to come out. H4, queen H5, and I can warm up to the position for Black.
I like it. You've preempted my question about how the queen all of a
is
sudden
gonna
didn't
come
feel
out.
so good being locked out of that dark square diagonal, but
Right.
like you say, sets up a nice little battery there for the bishop
Right.
on a longer light square diagonal, perhaps.
Please.
And watching Garry head in hands move 2, this is what preparation is all about or even not all about when we're talking about chess 960, because you're not going to see a world-class player sitting there, E4, E6, move 2, head in hands, trying to work out variations. He is looking at this, and clearly he and Fabi did not look at E6. So importantly, Vichy came up with a move that has now surprised Garry, at least in this first game, that he would have to look at for game 3, but he doesn't have the benefit of preparation now. He's got to deal with it in game 1.
It speaks to the multifaceted nature of a format like this, of a variant like this, right? Where you're playing not just the game of chess, you're playing the opponent, you're playing the clock, right? And so very much, it could be just as maybe if it's not the most optimal move, maybe the engine says, okay, this isn't the best move, but in this circumstance, it might be the best move because of what it forces from your opponent. That now 3+ minutes of thinking here, just on move 2?
Yeah, that's 960. You got to get the zen of the position.
I know it's
not
25-10, but we're not going to get past move 20 here before the clock's run out.
Right. E7, E6. This is a shout out to Hikaru Nakamura. Against the French defense, one of the lines that Hikaru adopted was the early F4, D5. And in a French defense, where Black is nicely, let's say, gotten a wedge in the center, White goes for his own wedge on the king side. Again, bishop will come out to E3, maybe even to H4. Knight comes out to F3. Queen has a square on G2. The funny thing about this bishop, you know, it's lurking. It's lurking. It's not a good move, but let me just point out, the bishop can come out the other way and potentially get on a very good diagonal.
That said, Yaz, I am not feeling the fluidity of play.
No,
for,
me either at
for
the moment.
White. I got to say, that move E6, the more I look at it, the more it seems like a fantastic solution for Black's problems. Now that White has placed a pawn on E4, at E6 with D5, it creates a nice structure. It opens up the bishop, the one problem child that you have in the position, the one we said, we don't like that piece.
Right.
That piece is just quickly coming out with ease. Either it's coming out on the A4 to E8 diagonal, that diagonal we see there. This bishop certainly is going to be able to come this way, or it's going to be able to come along the other diagonal, E8 to H5. This piece, it's like we learn in chess, what's your worst piece? Improve it.
Exactly.
He's after that right now with the move E6. In addition to controlling the center quite well, that's a tough move, and Garry is showing that it is. Look at his clock.
Yeah, Vichy, he's answering those fundamental questions. Garry right now, we had questions about his time management yesterday, and I don't feel like he's answering those questions for us right now, Yasser.
No, he's still struggling to come to grips with the position. But at a certain moment, you know Garry is creating his pattern. He has an idea. Once he plays a move like f2, f4, everything's going to flow very, very quickly. He's going to bring in his knights out, knight f3, knight e3, bishop g3, move his queen, castle short. Let's try f4 for a second, Maurice. Throw out a suggestion for Vichy in return. d5?
D5 seems like the most natural move, so I'll play it.
Exactly, and now, as they say, I'll take the wedgie.
Absolutely.
I got the central wedge. Now you're going to, okay, what did he do? He went d4 after all, after a long think. Whoa.
Well, we all could have played that after 3 seconds.
What does that tell you about what his mindset is? Is that just, okay, I'm settling for a move that I don't even necessarily like?
I think he's showing that he's struggling.
Okay.
He's struggling to come up with, the zen of the position. And it is a struggle. And look at this. This is not Garry Kasparov playing his patented ferocious type of game. He just captured on d5.
Let me say,
Remarkable.
I'm going to give Garry a little bit more credit, not because his time management was so great, but I think that from Garry's perspective, he wanted to make sure that he didn't fall into anything, or also that he had a nice path going forward. And obviously, this position is not majorly advantageous for White, as
Not
you
at all.
kind of quickly look at it. But it ain't bad.
No.
It's not like it's a bad, he may not get a big edge coming out the opening, but he doesn't have to. He just needs to get his pieces in the game.
Right.
His time was spent. He decided, I'm going to just get some easy play,
Right.
easy development. This looks like equality to my eyes pretty quickly. So it's just a game.
Right.
It's just a game. The complexity of the opening is probably past us because there's no big structure with the pawn still there. This is when we see exchanges happen, we consider this kind of liquidation just straight
Balanced.
towards equality.
And
Exactly.
to your point, I've seen a player like Vincent Keimer, yes, in different time controls, but in Chess 960 take over 30 minutes to make his first move on a board as black. in
Okay, that's a
response to
lot.
white, right?
That
It's a
is a
lot,
lot.
but he would then go on to win the event. So, hey, there might be something to it. And even an example yesterday in Game 4, we've seen how quickly a Chess 960 game can go wrong as well, right?
Yes.
How quickly you can end up down an entire piece, and maybe that's eaten at the back of your mind a little bit too, wanting to avoid a situation like that
Of tactics.
if your opponent's approach has surprised you in some way, shape, or form. Now, a bit of a think here for Vichy, because this surprised me a bit. We were talking so much about pawn development here on the right-hand side of the board, and yet it's actually happening over here on the left-hand side of the board
Well,
instead.
he just played c2, c3, essentially to open up the bishop. Now, you know me, I'm a king hunter, obviously. I got that.
King hunter and a
yeah,
pawn grab.
yeah. I have got that reputation. I've got that reputation as a king hunter.
He's making stuff up right now.
Vichy surprised me. So I'm imagining in my mind's eye, how do I get to White's king? Obviously, I play bishop a4. Give me your rook. Give me your rook. You're not going to play bishop c2. You're not playing bishop c2. You're going to play b3. I'm going to go back with the bishop, and you're going to bring your knight out. I'm going to bring my knight out. You're going to bring your knight out. I'm bringing my knight out. And then you're going to bring your bishop out. And now, here's my king hunting skills. You see that? You see that,
Yasser,
Maurice?
stop it.
Look at that.
That was
gifted attacking player, right?
amazing that you
Thank you.
conceived of that profoundly
That
deep
is
idea.
beautiful. I
It
think I
didn't
would just slide
happen.
my rook out of the way, though, if you come in to threaten the rook.
Oh, you think there were more than one response?
I think there might be more than one response.
No
Yeah,
way.
Even my 1200
That
rated
was
mind can find that.
that was the main line, guys. C7, C6. Just again a little bit modest move, but I told you at the very start. My problem, the biggest problem piece, with the bishops. The bishop's on e1. The bishop's on e8. Garry's opening is to cure that right away. He's put his bishop on d2. He's looking at playing in case the knight comes to f6. He's looking at the potential for the pin. Bishop g5.
And also, look, in symmetrical positions, the position can tend toward equality.
Clear.
That's just normal.
Right.
But also, the fact is that White goes first.
Yep.
So you can copy me, it's like your annoying little sister. I have one of those. She happens to be a 6-time world champion boxer, so it's even worse that she's so annoying. But they say, copy me, don't copy me, don't copy me.
Right.
In chess, you keep copying the person, they move first.
You will lose. Black.
There's going to be some point in that copying where you're not going to be able to copy.
Right.
So even though it's symmetrical, even though it might not have so much poison, some structural scope where white builds up a great pawn formation to try to do damage and restrict black, you can't just copy for the next 20 moves because there's going to be a threat that maybe I threaten mate and you're going to go, you can't threaten mate as well.
Right.
So that's something we have to keep our eye out for. Reminds me of, a lot of those E4, E5 positions where it's just like a quick, the Wesley So draw. I hate putting it on Wesley.
Right.
But, where everything just happens real quick on E5 and it trades down to a similar structure as this one.
Right.
Maybe it's more like a Petrov is what I'm thinking of. One of those that just turned highly symmetrical. And here we go, the annoying kid brother. In this case, copy me, I copy you, you copy me.
Symmetry.
Well,
so Vichy isn't afraid of the initiative just yet, right?
Right.
Saying, I'm happy to play into the symmetry because I don't see that moment where I'm on the back foot because you're the one playing white and have the initiative.
And again, Vichy has just played the move bishop d7, very, very natural move, no problems. But this, for me, is an exchange French defense. Full stop, end of story.
Yes.
And a lot of times in the exchange French defense, the squares e5 and e4 become the argument. Who controls those squares? For me, I would have found the move f7, f6 attractive. First, because I defend the e5 square, but more importantly, I'm trying to get rid of the worst piece on the board. I want to play the move bishop g6 and force you to trade that bishop on my terms. Let me just make a move for white, okay? And if I could get you to think about trading, you remember I had a problem with my queen?
Yeah. Now she's
not
alive.
anymore. You just opened up my queen, so I'm ready to play g5, queen h7. So I'm thinking f7, f6 wasn't such a bad
The only thing I would argue with f7, f6, if I may, and we go back to that, is Garry has now played rook e1, which foregoes castling on the king side.
Exactly.
After that move.
It also guarantees that symmetry will be
After f7,
broken.
sorry, instead of rook e1, I'd like to back up.
Please.
In this position, maybe bishop f5 check.
Yeah, that will provoke me to block. Yep.
And since my bishop was going to move
anyway, you've come back to c2.
I come back to some square, whether it's d3 or c2, and then prepare the knights to come out.
And you have left me committed to play the move f7, f6. Maybe that wasn't on my agenda. But
yes,
on the
now
other
I can play
hand,
knight e3 and continue.
Right.
Or even knight g3. Yeah, but something like this. Maybe that's where his thinking was. But now rook to e1 by Vichy, and is this by Garry? Sorry, is this a copy me moment again?
Rook e1. No, it's not a copy me. Rook e8, I get to take and draw your bishop back to the e8 square. That I don't think is what you want. I think it's time to develop the knights. Let's just go. Knight e6, knight f6, knight g6, knight f6. Let's go.
You're picking the litter, huh?
Yeah. Now, I really do think that when Garry played the move bishop d2, he was trying to discourage black from jumping with the move knight f6 because of bishop g5. Garry got up?
Gary's up.
Very surprised. He has been, as we saw in day one, he's been jumping out of his chair and kind of stalking around the playing hall.
That's Garry. Let's be clear. That's Garry. Garry does not like to just sit there at the board. He wants to walk around like a tiger on the prowl.
Right.
This tiger from Madras, that's his nickname, though Madras, Chennai, either one, but he sits at the board.
Yeah.
And focuses the entire time. I'm not sure if he does this in classical chess. That's something I don't recall. But he does it in rapid, and guess what?
No.
Copy me, copy you.
I didn't expect that. I really didn't expect that by Vichy.
Not a one of us expected it. The question is, did Garry expect it?
That's kind of funny, actually. No, again, I would have been more than happy just to get the knights out. Knight f6, go ahead and pin me, bishop g5, knight g6. intending the move bishop f4, I think, was perfectly good for black. This, I would have thought, I would have just rejected this because I feel like I made a step backwards. I made a concession, bishop e8.
Yeah, at the very least, we've achieved breaking the symmetry, but to your point, yeah, now on the side of black, I just feel like I'm moved behind.
Yeah, well, we started a half ply behind because we're black to begin with, but now I feel like, well, we're 2 ply behind because white's already got in bishop d2, and it's his turn. And now, having said that, how significant is it, Maurice?
It's probably not that significant, but maybe psychologically so. And Garry clearly feels like,
I got something.
I don't like what you did. You shouldn't have copied me anymore.
Right.
But now, what can I do to prove the point?
Yeah.
And the eval bar is saying, it ain't that serious.
No.
Sorry.
No.
It's still within bounds. And as long as Vichy, and you see how peaceful he looks, at the moment, arms folded, relaxed, while Garry is going through all kinds of paroxysms at the moment. Right. Vichy's just like, you know what? I'm chill. I don't think it's that bad. The structure is perfect. You're not really saying much that's going to bother me. So what?
But now I'm living in your world where let's just finish our development.
Right.
Let's go bishop c2. Let's look for a castles. Let's get both of our knights out. And again, I'm just a full step ahead of you in this foot race.
Yeah, exactly. I agree wholeheartedly. Now, again, we often get to these positions, these middle game positions, and we say the breaks. Where are the breaks? Okay, I have extra development, so I need to open up the position.
Good luck.
Where's my breaks?
Good luck. You may have a lead in development, but you don't have easy breaks. As you put it. It's a fantastic point.
Yeah.
Good luck finding a way to aggress the black king. Bishop c7 followed by queenside castles will happen very soon. And then the knights will come out. And the key question, I think the whole question of this position actually comes down to what damage can the 2 knights, the one sitting on f1 and one sitting on g1, how quickly can they cause some kind of ruckus?
Exactly.
Because if these knights don't do any damage soon, black's just going to develop the pieces.
Absolutely.
And black's going to be perfectly fine. If you're going to take a lot of time getting this structure going, and you're making some moves right now, Yaz, to show what might be possible, it's not going to be something that painful. Why are we giving away pawns?
I just wanted to show once again my aggressive propensity to go after after kings. I'm the natural king hunter.
You are living
in case anybody was wondering what Yasser was capable of, we just had to get that out.
Well, I mean, you know, you bring the queen on h1 that's doing nothing to a7. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you're a god. That's impressive stuff.
Okay. Well, I'll give you $1,000 if you see that play.
Well, thank you very much.
I'll give him $5,000. That's a fantasy.
Wait a minute. Bidding isn't over. The producers are still behind you guys.
Raising the paddles. But how about this? I mean, again, time is always a factor, and we have a 5-minute differential right now between these 2 players. So, you know, right now, copycat chess, by all accounts, is seeming to work here for Vichy, just from the perspective of giving himself time.
Okay,
what's G3?
Thank you. I was going to ask second. What is G? Well, obviously we're opening up the queen, but beyond that, okay, all I can see is a possibility that Garry wants something of this nature. Don't ask me or why he would want to be able to recapture on f5 with his queen. I don't know what G3 is. You tell me.
I'm struggling.
He's just trying to build a pyramid, as far as I'm concerned. G4 is coming.
Step by step, then, right? No, G2, G3. Nope. I don't like it. I think it's not. I think it's a useful move, but I don't see it as being a critical key move. I like what you were saying, James. Bishop C2, castle quickly. Put your rook on E1. That's the open file. Bring your rook to the open file. I love it.
You're also taking a square away from your knight. It's not a move that is going to scare Vichy in any way, shape, or form.
No.
That's clear. The thing that we have to pay attention to now, of course, are the clock times. Now, Vichy can just start playing some moves. He can recognize, I'm not in any real danger here.
No. Right.
There's no way G3 landed on the board and you fell off your chair.
No.
You should be playing a quick move in response, And there he is. And he's played G6.
The younger
Make
brother
it make
approach.
sense.
I want to go back to copying you again.
Make it make sense.
Okay, and look at Garry, like, reflect back, like, what? G?
I love it.
Again, I didn't
Maybe
see
that's
that
really
coming.
maybe that was the whole idea of G3, just to see if he would keep you know, hey. There's no world where he would copy this move, right?
Right. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, they're surprising us, but again, there's no dynamic tension in this position
No.
Right.
whatsoever. Sooner or later, some pieces will come off the back row, and strategically, it is going to be up to Garry to check his time eval bar. Right now, he is down more than 4 minutes.
Yep.
I mean,
That's the most significant thing that came out of this opening is the slow play and the lack of a clear plan by Garry. He used a lot of time, and I still don't have a good impression what he's doing with this piece.
which is interesting because it doesn't feel like we've hit any critical moments in this game, right? And
Not
the
at
critical
all.
moments is where you want to see the 2 to 5 minute things.
Right.
You only got a couple of those in the bank at this point here, Maurice.
The most exciting thing that happened in this game is Rook takes E8 check. Like, that's
Wow.
right?
I
Like,
nearly fell off my seat.
it was like an earthquake.
Yeah, right.
But
Here we
this,
go.
No,
Wow.
a move we can all get behind.
Yes.
You know, no high marks for Vishy's move coming up next.
Bishop C7. You want to bet? Let's make a bet. Is Bishop C7 going to happen?
High probability. High probability. By the way, 5 minutes on the time eval bar in favor of Vishy. I'd play Bishop C7 castles, lickety split. Let's get that on the board. Because again, Garry has been slow playing it, and I would get the feeling my opponent's not comfortable. He hasn't come up with a plan. Bishop C7, let's go.
Unless he felt like Bishop C2 was in some way an error, putting the bishop specifically there, why haven't you played Bishop C7 already?
As in missed opportunity or something?
Or something.
I don't know. I don't see why
It's
it
got to
would
be
be a
Bishop
miss.
C7. And no more
Breaking the
copy.
symmetry.
Breaking a more active square, preventing any B3 move, as you mentioned, Yaz, the bishop on that diagonal.
It was funny because I wanted to play Bishop A4 way back in the day and to provoke B3. Now you would imagine how fun it would have been to have provoked B3. Anyway, castle's long. Let's go.
Okay.
I just want to point out that B3 would probably not be a good idea because of this check.
Ouch.
And so here we go. Gary is castling, and he has castled.
And he did it with one
Did it with
hand.
one hand.
Yeah, you picked up on that too, James. And Vishy instantly castled. Okay.
All righty.
So still the symmetry is king. And the eve, I mean, it's balanced. It's completely balanced at this moment.
There is very little here separating the two players. Just frankly,
Yeah.
the most important thing we want to look at, let's just really take a look at the pawn structure. In this position, you can see the symmetry. I mean, black's pawns look exactly like white's. There's 4 against 4 on this side.
Yep.
When we have this kind of symmetrical pawn structure, it means no one has an edge in this way. No one has anything easy to do to break that symmetry. This is just exactly twins of each other. The knights will come out, and they'll look like twins of each other in a moment. So this is really not much here. We would say they're playing a GM draw. If it was me and Yasser sitting down, it's because we wanted to get this game over with and go have some dinner.
Right.
Like, this is what you would say about a game like this one at the moment. It's just not much going on.
Nope.
This type of board position for me is the most difficult to evaluate and find a way forward. I know not every piece is necessarily developed yet, but we're kind of in that state of the game where a number of moves have been made, and I've got to learn I've got to figure out a way to plot a path forward. How are you approaching it? Are you always focused on launching attacks on the king? Are you looking at specific pieces? Are you looking at your own piece setup, or are you more focused on your opponent's piece setup and how to dismantle it? Where do I, in a middle game, as a lower-rated player, build an attack plan?
Well, the correct answer, of course, is yes to all of the above. Okay. Yes, I am looking to improve each and every one of my pieces. The last move by Garry, by the way, the rook on D1, E1, not the most phenomenal earthquake-like move, but it improves the rook, brings it to the open file. And I always compare my pieces to one another. Maurice, yeah, I like that bishop that you got there. No, let me trade that off. Maurice, I hate that knight. Let me trade that. You keep that one. I'm not going after that. So yeah, I'm looking to improve my pieces. I'm looking to take away your good guys, leave your guys alone. Also, I feel like whenever my opponent's retreating, like keep retreating. Let them retreat. Let them retreat. In this position, this is not enough to sink your teeth into. And Vishy's doing the correct thing, which is, look, this is your good rook. Hey, guess what? I'll trade it off.
Right.
And we've seen this chopping block along the e-file.
If I may, another thing that's of critical importance, of course, improve your pieces and restrain your opponent's pieces. That's just general chess 101.
Right.
But also identify your opponent's weakness or weaknesses and see if you can come up with a plan to attack those weaknesses and cause your opponent some discomfort. That will cause your opponent to put pieces on squares they don't necessarily want to.
Right.
And any kind of miscoordination, discoordination in the enemy camp, you can then exploit on the next move. You cannot plot the entire thing all the way
as
down.
much as you'd like.
We say in chess, it's important, yes, to look ahead, but it's also important to be situationally aware. Right in this moment, what's the best thing for me to do? That's really what you need. And the best thing to do at this moment, from my eyes, get those darn knights off the back rank at some point, and then eyeball weaknesses. You see Yasser noted the f7 weakness. We can smell those kind of weaknesses at a long range. That bishop move just weakened the f7 square. It's not a big one, but where else are you going to find a weakness in this position? There might be a little tiny bit of dark square weakness, if I will, on this diagonal right here. Kind of, sort of. It's nothing that a strong player would be scared and terrified of. This bishop could have some influence in some way, maybe on this square, but it's just too tiny. It's just small margin we're talking about. But also, remember the Alpha Zero-esque H4 type ideas as well could come into play, although black will probably challenge with H5, but then the knight could get to G5 pretty rapidly.
Exactly. Again, Garry has not been playing swiftly, quite the contrary. It took him a number of minutes to play what for us is a very natural move, just get the pieces out. And with the move rook e1, he is eyeballing the possibility of knight e5. Again, not the only move, but for me, a high quality move would be the move rook e8. He did play
that
f7,
right here.
f6. A situation that I spoke about earlier, in these exchange French, the fight for the e5 and the e4 square are huge. And so that earlier opportunity of playing f7, f6, and bishop g6 that I referenced makes sense. Now we finally, Garry picking up the pace. It's taking him a while.
He's picking up the pace. I appreciate that we've developed the knights, and of course we're kind of preempting the knight jump over there to e5. But this to me now feels like I've kind of caged in my own knights on the black side of the board. There's less opportunity of spaces for me to develop these knights too.
I would agree.
For white or for black?
For black, sorry.
For black. I would agree with that. The thing, though, is knight e6 is pretty easy. Knight e7 is a clear square for you to go to. So that doesn't seem like that necessarily that big a problem. By the way, I want to point out that in this moment, we have a normal-ish looking position.
Yeah, the players have got like this is chess. This looks right out of the exchange French.
The only thing we're wondering is why did this queen move to the h1 square and why did this queen move to the h8 square?
Right.
That's where you'd be wondering, like, how did this happen? By the way, that last move,
very strange.
Now we are in the area of miscoordination of pieces. The bishop on e6 feels like it's on a bad square. On the open file, the knight on f8 now can't move without some worry, some small worry that rook will have some kind of play. Knight c4 maybe, if you don't think correctly. So, for example, I'm going to make a move for white.
Play queen f1.
You want to play queen f1?
Oh, desperately. The reason I want to play queen f1, we talked about pawn breaks before. At last, not that I'm eager, c3, c4. And in case, you now go ahead, play your knight d7.
All right, now knight d7. Garry has, in fact, played the move queen to f1. So you did predict
and
that.
now knight c4
and now,
is what
and
you
now
were showing.
this is the idea I was saying. Suddenly
Yes.
this knight move shows up, and you're hitting this bishop, and you're hitting this bishop at the same time. You're forced actually to capture this knight. There's no other move because the two bishops are happening. So now you get the advantage of the two bishops. You get another tempo on the bishop on the d6 square, and excuse me, a little button is hanging with queen takes c4 to follow.
Now this has gone wrong.
Something's gone wrong. Here you have to play knight b6, in fact, to defend the position.
And let me tell you right now, right here, I see a pawn grab. Do you see it? Do you see it, Maurice? The pawn grab?
From here?
The queen on h8 is undefended. So you go queen h3,
yes,
making
the king move,
and
the guy spots
now the bishop's all the way
distance,
across.
Boy.
Wow,
amazing,
sweet nectar,
amazing. Yes, don't count on Yasser to find the way forward.
That to me, you were talking about boxing earlier. That to me felt like a boxer. He threw the feint to the left-hand side of the board just to get you to look that way for 1 second, and then he goes right to snap up a pawn. Just
we
like
call
that.
it the old 1-2.
You see, in Yasser's puzzle rush, there's puzzle rush, right? In all of the puzzles in Yasser's puzzle rush, it's how do you win a pawn?
How do you win a pawn?
Mates? Oh, those are boring.
Those
Garbage out here. Wins of queens? Please. How do you win that pawn? And that's a puzzle rush.
That's a building block. It's a building block to victory right there. You grab enough pawns, it's equivalent to a queen as far as I'm concerned.
Right? Trying to bring you all into higher consciousness. Queen g7, very, very natural move. I still am puzzled about the move bishop e6. I just didn't see why. It steps in the pathway of the knight. Queen g7 a moment ago, knight e7, knight e6. Made sense. Why did I need to put the bishop on e6? No, Garry, the challenge is he's behind on the clock. Should he make the positional risk? Should he be playing the move c3, c4, potentially getting stuck with a very awkward isolated pawn? But we're kind of we're making use of the open file. I don't know, Maurice. For Garry, he's taking a big strategic risk with
Yes,
c4.
I don't think he's going to do that. But problematically, as you mentioned, that clock.
7 minutes.
7:17, counting down, 13:24. You don't have a real edge.
No.
Like something big. More importantly, you don't have a clear path forward.
That's my problem.
What should you do exactly? You know what Vishy's doing, as far as I'm concerned, the way he's left his knights on the back rank? He's playing sort of a hedgehog type spirit.
Yeah.
Right? Where you just bottle up, say, okay, I got no weaknesses, you've got no entry points. How do you come get me?
Exactly.
Figure out your words. So look at Garry, he's shaking his head now. He's the one with the lead in development.
Yeah.
He's the one who may have some sort of chances. His knights are not stuck on the back rank at the moment. But he's not looking happy because he can't figure out a way to hit.
Right.
Move forward. What do you do to put pressure on this position?
Feels like he should be making progress, but he's just chasing his opponent around the ring right now, and he's bleeding time while it happens.
The clock time is getting more than a little serious. If you're not playing c4, and I kind of feel you're not playing c4, I think what you are playing for is control of the f4 square. Why? I want to play h4, followed by the move knight g2. And what I want to do with this knight is bring it to a much better square, the f4 square, so I can put pressure on the knight. Now, Garry played the move knight g2 right away. Why did I preface it with the move h4? I wanted to kind of prevent the move bishop h3. I saw the move knight g2, then I saw the move bishop h3. And if my pawn were on h4, I would play queen h1 right here. I'd break the pin, kick the knight away, kick the bishop away, I beg your pardon, and then bring my knight to f4. Knight g2, Maurice, I feel like Garry's struggling a little bit here.
15 moves in to get to this position.
Right.
Vishy down to 12:30, so he's used half his time, but Garry down to 6:19. And there's going to come a point where Vishy is going to play a move that Garry will have to pause a bit longer, legitimately. Right. So far, he's played no move that Garry needed to think very, very deeply.
Right.
There's going to become a move where he's going to go, oh, wait, what's this? And when it does land on the board, and did it?
He won't have the time. No,
And he won't have a lot of time to really cogitate, meditate, and calculate. He will have to move.
Right.
And your move, is this your suggestion?
Yes.
Move G5?
Yes.
Yeah,
G5
not on the board.
may be one of those types of moves, as it has not been played as yet, but it's going to be. You see how Vishy just sat up in his chair?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a big deal. You think you're just kind of relaxing, just getting a bit more comfortable. No. Chess players, what's going on in their heads also gets reflected in the body. And things like that, if you see any kind of motion that's different from just sitting there, suggests that something's going on in his head right now.
Right.
What do I do different? How do I complicate the situation so that Garry will have to stop and think for even longer, burning his clock?
He's been somewhat floating through this game up to this point, but as you mentioned, now giving it a good think, creeping down to about 11 minutes. You want to keep that time advantage right before you ask the question of your opponent that is going to force them into that long think, but perhaps recognizing this could be the critical moment where he poses that question to Garry Kasparov.
Now I finally understand why Garry played the move knight g2 first and not h4. Finally, what I understand is that Garry had prepared, in case of bishop h3, a natural move to pin the knight. The knight on f3 actually has no future. It's not on a good square. But after knight g1, this knight will come to f4. This knight will reroute itself. So actually the move bishop h3 is a poor decision. Ill-advised. Poor decision for Vishy, and he played.
Instead, we'll have a knight developing for the first time here on the black side of the board. It will go to the rim. Obviously, that's not its final destination.
But, okay, Bishop, I like this move because, again, I didn't see a future for this knight. Now you've vacated a square. Potentially, I've got the maneuver. And Vishy anticipating bishop f4, that was very clever of Vishy, is ready to respond with any trades, brings that knight back into the game.
There's nothing here for white.
Nope.
That last maneuver, the knight has made a couple of moves. We saw it on the g8 square. We wondered where it was going to go. And also the f8 knight, it's going to take some time because it's defending. This knight is defending this bishop at the moment that is under some kind of aggression from the rook on e1. So now I see you making a move there, Yasser, the suggestion of rook to e3. But the bottom line is that any move you make, this position is close to equality. You're going to have to figure out how to complicate life for black.
Right.
But there we see a trade.
Well, on black's terms.
On black's terms, and now the knight to f4 challenging that piece. So bishop takes, and then knight to f4 has been played. That bishop most likely will drop back. He has two options, which directions to go in. d7 looks like a reasonable one. It could also, actually, this bishop for the first time has like a zillion choices it could make. You could you could attack the knight. You could maybe play bishop f5. You're saying queen d7 is possible as well. There are a number of opportunities for Vishy at the moment. And very importantly, double the time on the clock, approximately 5:42 to 10:05.
I like the move rook e8, unless I'm getting a little bit pinned gummied up by the move queen h3. I don't think so. I don't think that is something I have to fear. I've got king d7. I've got queen d7 as ways. But what did Vishy do? Sorry, I'm just going to refresh my board.
He played bishop g4 and now knight.
Instantly.
Okay.
Instantly.
And Garry played knight d2.
Wow.
Drop the knight back.
Okay. He was ready for that move, bishop to g4. Again, I didn't think that the knight had a future or any kind of a promising, any prospects, I should say. Knight e5 and knight g5 are both verboten. So knight d2, I think that was a kind of a useful bump. Thank you. I was going to move my knight anyway. I don't think that particularly helped Vishy's cause.
Well, the thing about this position, though, is we're nowhere.
It's even, Steven.
It's completely even.
Yeah.
And as much as this has been building, the tension is building. The tension, build, slow play. And the key I hate to just keep harping on this. The key is going to be the clock.
Right.
Yeah.
And we don't see it yet, but it's going to be a factor if the pieces don't get traded off. And this, so far, we've sort of had our library voices at the moment. It's okay. We're chilling. But in about 4 minutes,
We'll be screaming.
we're going to have our basketball voices on.
It's a slow build to the day.
Right?
Absolutely.
Right.
This just
Love this move, Queen F7, by the way. This is a very chill move.
Help me understand this move.
Okay, so the idea is improve your pieces, full stop. What is the queen doing on G7? Do you have a better square for the queen? Queen on G7 is covering H6, not doing anything. Queen on F7 covers the E8 square. Remember we were talking about how important it was at the open file. Whose rook's on the open file? Well, if we trade, we can recapture with the queen. So that's one good thing.
Right.
Next good thing is white has been building to control the E6 square. And the move Queen F7, challenge. I'm not going to allow you to just hang there. The knight on F8, it needs life. It's done nothing for us. It hasn't earned a single oat.
Right.
So
we can only
96
unlock it. Yeah.
with the move knight. So I like this nice little building move. I like it very much, Queen F7. And it's back to ball in your court, Garry. What are you going to do?
That's maybe the most important thing, right? Is
Right.
how quickly and smoothly that each of these moves are coming out. So queen repositions here to F7. We're just about to go below 4 minutes on the clock. 5 minutes difference between these two players. And that's probably the more important element, is just how much time Anand has to work with versus Garry at this point. Now
not
below 4
probably,
minutes.
definitely. It's look where he is. Do you know when your clock hits 3-something, what starts happening to your heart rate? We don't have a heart monitor in Garry right now, but Garry better wake up and realize, I got to move. Right. I got to get in blitz mode. He is way too calm. Well, maybe he's starting to realize that he's thinking, what are you thinking about, bro?
Exactly.
Your clock is precarious right now.
I'm seeing a draw, guys. I'm seeing a force sequence of moves which essentially hoovers all the pieces off the board, just threatening to trade everything.
A little bit of liquidation.
And I'm expecting this, especially because of the clock times.
Do you think Garry is going, Vishy's going to acquiesce?
My
to
exact
this?
question as well.
Why not just keep playing moves? You don't have a bad position.
No, of course not. I just see that as the natural. All things being equal, those are the best moves. You go play. This bishop on F3 bothers me. Get out of the way. F3. This bishop, if I were black, bothers me. Let's trade it off.
Right.
We trade it. I've got the open file. No, but you don't.
So is there any point within that sequence, again, as Garry finally makes a move with
And
only
he did not
240
play
to his name?
F3.
He doesn't go that way.
No,
Look
that's
at-
a surprise.
Could we please look at the clock times? I mean, is that
9,
bothering
3,
anybody? I can't sit here. I can't even pay attention to anything else.
Yeah, the whole desk is shaking over here right now.
What are you doing?
It's like the 24-second clock. He's got 3 seconds to put up a shot.
I will say Garry did play pretty phenomenally down the stretch with low time yesterday.
Yesterday, in fact, he said it himself in his interview.
Yeah,
He actually outplayed Vishy when he had no time.
with no time.
That was surprising for everybody. Knight D3. Okay, reasonable move. The knight on D3 kind of mirrors the knight on D6. You're looking for that outpost on C5 to take advantage. Again, for me, it's this knight on F8 as well as this rook on D8. I'm looking to play the move rook E8. I'm looking to play the move knight E6. And I would do it, if I was Vishy, quickly. One of those two.
I think Vishy is still looking for some kind of interesting move.
How do we keep it?
How do you make him
The game
think? But he's finally decided just to play a standard rook centralizing move, opposing white's rook, and now knight to C5.
Knight to C5 came quickly.
I think Gary's aware now.
Hey.
Tick tock, tick tock. Time ticking down.
And again, look, to my way of thinking, this knight on C5 bothers me. I want to play knight D7 and challenge it.
Yeah, should induce an E6.
Yeah, well, to challenge it. Challenge the knight on C5.
Yeah.
I don't want to play the move B6. Not that I'm afraid of check. I mean, the rook is hanging. Keep that in mind. I'm not afraid of this position, but why allow it? Why let that queen leap into the game? So if I'm in Vishy's shoes, I'm finding rook takes e1, check, as well as knight d7 as the most compelling.
Although
Although
I know I'm going to say something
profound.
He's not doing it. Although you said the word provocative.
Yeah.
And provocative might not be a bad idea. It's one of those moves. It may be one of those moves you have to play that is provocative that makes Garry go, what? Are you crazy? If it's still correct.
Right.
If it's still correct. We don't want to play moves that are compromising our position. But that b6 move could have been one of those moves that Garry looks and goes, this is not possible. And by the time he's cleared the cobwebs, he's down to 1 minute and 3 seconds on his clock as he tries to refute your move. Vishy has decided to play very conservatively, correctly, as you mentioned.
Right.
Challenge that knight. Garry quickly responded with knight to b3.
The cavalry.
like it.
It's on the move right now. He's bringing everything over to the left-hand side of the board. Are we looking now at jumping all the way up to a5, threatening that very pawn, maybe trying to get it to come out into the field?
Already protected. The knight on d6 already protects b7. So even if
here.
I give you a free hand to play the move knight a5, I've got it defended. So for me, if I'm Vishy's shoes, I'm saying, dude, you just misplaced your knight. What are you doing? And I am trading off the potential attackers. Now, normally speaking, you don't like to give up the open file. So I was expecting something like munch. And yeah, we're just
And now we're fizzling.
Fizzling. That's
Compared to yesterday's games that were just full of brimstone and fire and sharp play, lava bombs going on, this game does not have that intensity. The players are being a bit more cagey. And as a result, believe it or not, all the way, if we go way back.
Almost to the start.
To this move after d5.
Move?
Right here. And you made note of it, Yaz, when it happened. When Garry played this move, e takes d5, and allowed this pawn structure, the pawn structure hasn't changed at all since then. Pawn structures can be very sticky. This is one of them. And so as we jump now to the current position, we see that a trade has occurred. The pawn structure is pretty much the same. Nothing serious going on. A queen under attack, the second most interesting thing that's happened in this game. And the queen moved away. We saw the eval bar give queen f7 a blunder.
No,
it was queen
misread.
e7.
Thought it went to e7 first.
That's definitely not a bad move here.
Right. No, bishop f5 by Vishy. Again, I'm seeing the pieces just getting hosed off the board like a vacuum. Everything's going, and you said it very well from the very start. Pawn structure hasn't changed a bit.
No pawn breaks, nothing aggressive, a couple of cagey pawn moves, nothing to fundamentally alter the dynamic structure in any way. Nobody's paid attention to that. Vishy's got to walk out of this game thinking, oh, you neutralized, you're white. You got zero coming out of that. Was that Garry's strategy coming into the morning round?
Protecting his lead in the match.
Well, and you brought us all the way back to move 2 there to kind of explain where it all happened. But I'll bring us all the way back to move 1 for Vishy, right? And how much that seemed to be unexpected on the side of Garry. E6, and man, we had a 5+ minute think. And once again, we're down below 2 minutes, 1 minute and 45 on the clock here for Garry Kasparov. So he's not out of the woods just yet, while still maybe has some options to get more pieces off the board and liquidate to a draw.
I see it as inevitable at this point. I would trade, if I was Garry, I would trade on f5, knight takes f5. Play a move like king to d2, anticipate more, hacking taking place on the e-file.
How much hustle potential is in this position, though?
There's no cheapo potential, no hustling.
None at all. I mean, after all, you're down to 1:13 on the clock.
I know that.
Are you really giving this guy a 6-to-1?
No.
You think that if you're in this position, 6-to-1 doesn't matter. You could draw this in your sleep.
No, and especially against a player of Vishy's class, I would hate to be down that much on the clock.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, why should Vishy just roll over and say, I'm just
okay,
gonna
let's make a draw.
donate the draw. Let's play a few moves. Let's see what happens.
I get ambitious, yeah.
Yeah, not do anything crazy, but let's keep the game going. You're the one who's down on the clock, not me.
But it does mean that Vishy's the one who has to keep the game going, right? Garry can just keep making moves that offer the trades, offer the equality, things like that. At some point, Vishy has to say no to that.
Well, but the strange part, James, to your point, was he could have traded, Garry could have traded off the bishops, could have traded off the rooks, could have brought his queen to a situation where they get faced off and trade. He didn't do that. It's like he's keeping the game alive.
Correct.
With no time on the clock.
You know
What's
what?
wrong with you?
It's like the scorpion and the frog.
Yeah, right?
Like, look, I'm sorry, take me across the water.
Right.
But no, you're a scorpion. You're going to sting me. No, why would I do that?
We'll both die.
We'll both die. No, take me across, and then when you start crossing, I stung you. Guess what? I can't change my nature.
My nature.
Garry's not the kind of player who wants to trade down. It's just, he's not, I'm going to panic. No, I'm Garry Kasparov. I'm the beast of Baku. Let's keep it busy a little bit. And I also think, remember Garry's parting words yesterday? He said to Anastasiya, when we got in time pressure, I outplayed him.
Yes.
Maybe Garry thinks, let's drag him into those time pressure waters, and maybe I will be able to do it yet again. But this is a little bit taking a chance with the time disparity, although it's not as bad as it was.
I was going to say, it's lessening, right? Every time we check back in with the clocks, that differential is starting to shrink. But once again, we have another piece coming off the board. The rooks have just left the battlefield, so we're left with a couple minor pieces in play for each player and the queens.
On the board.
G5?
Yeah, just kind of giving the bishop, in case Garry wanted to play the move G4, it gives the bishop a little opportunity. It always had bishop D7.
Right.
Played.
Instantly, by the way.
G4 on the board.
Garry has to pick up his pace. I like bishop to G6, by the way. It's not like I'm giving up control of the E6 square. What are you going to do? Go queen E6? Knight E6? Nothing. And again, queen E8 maybe on a good day if I could ever get a battery. You know what I mean? I could. I'm always king hunting. Yeah, I'm always hunting.
King hunting in this position. You should stop. Yes, sir. But look.
3:30 now for Vishy.
Tick-tock, tick-tock. You got to make a move.
Tick-tock.
What is Vishy thinking now? And this is
Well, he played G5 to play bishop G6. Why is he thinking about this one?
And by the way, this is maybe the third exciting moment in the game. We had rook takes E8 at one moment. Then we had this nice C5 threat to the queen. And now G4 is the moment where something's under attack. At least we can get a little excited.
We were talking about
G6?
possible pawn breaks. Is this the moment?
It is indeed the moment. F4 has been played.
Wow.
And now we have fire on the chessboard. Here we go.
F4.
Is this just giving up a pawn entirely?
No,
or no?
because
What
his intention is to recapture. In case of takes, Garry wants to play the move Queen F2, and it's not possible to defend the pawn. Queen takes F4 next. But I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, Garry, what are you up to? Are you really, really serious? You've given up the E4 square, my friend. I start to think about the move B6, and I genuinely start to think, you know what? I'm going to have command over this square E4 for the rest of the game. What are you doing?
We're going back to that interview from yesterday. I feel like I'm outplaying down the stretch. I feel like I'm outplaying when it comes to time trouble. There's 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. Only 1 minute separates both of these players at this point. And it's now that Garry decides to strike.
Yes. Yes. It's now.
Bad timing.
It's
bad timing.
Here
bad timing.
You're not sold. You're not sold.
No, I'm thinking
Vishy agrees with you.
I prefer black's position after the move B7, B6, because I think, in my mind, you have given up. Again, you heard me from the very start. These squares E4, E5, it comes down to that battle. And if I win control over E4, I feel like I'm the player with the advantage. By the way, what are we going to do? The knight has got to come.
The knight is under attack. Knight B3 is not the most attractive move in the world.
That move I don't like. I don't like F5. For example, takes, Tick, 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 tick. That would cost Garry a pawn.
It would cost him a pawn, but right now he's costing himself dearly on the clock. 40 seconds and counting. He will go for it of all things.
The very move I said, careful, don't play.
Much to Yasser's chagrin.
What
We are here.
I think Garry is cruising for a bruising.
I'll tell you right now. He's about to get punched, and he is going down a pawn. The engine hates that last move.
I don't like it. I don't like it. Well, let's just see what Garry is thinking about. If I take, you got to take the bishop, right? If I take, you got to take the pawn. If I put my knight on this magnificent square, give me the pawn. I'm assuming queen e3. Give me the pawn. I'm assuming b4.
No, this is...
Give me the pawn.
This is not what you want. This is
I'm
definitely not what you want. Vishy has
There we go.
taken on f5, which is actually the top move here.
Even the
move in
best
position.
move. Okay.
Best move in the position. And next stop, give me that. And now, what you said, Yaz,
Bring that centralized
the knight is going to become a horse, indeed, a stallion on the e4 square. Garry's in big trouble.
Possibly even the e5 square. Interesting, isn't it? Like we were talking at the very start. Yesterday, what's the difference between these two gladiators? And I said, for me, the standout is that Vishy has this propensity to prefer knights to bishops.
Mm-hmm.
He is unique amongst his grandmaster colleagues in his desire to play the knight. Guess what we got? Queen and knight versus queen and bishop. Which player will prove
You've got
his
to prove
word?
it now. You've got to
By
prove
the
it now. And we're
way,
rapidly approaching panic time for both players.
Both
and for
players.
the first time in this game, it's actually Vishy Anand who has less time on his clock. He does get the 10-second increment back up to
Where did it all go?
111.
And he
Where
has
did it go?
He's winning a pawn. That's where it went.
By the way, knight e4. If I'm in Vishy's shoes, I am chomping at the bit to bring my queen to the e5 square. Knight e4. Love this move.
Yeah.
What is Garry doing?
He's throwing away the game is what he's doing. He's down to now 37 seconds. He's down is the count right? He's about to be down.
He'll be down a pawn.
He will be down a pawn shortly.
We have
and
a move.
C4.
What?
Didn't see that.
On the board, mixing it up.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it, Maurice.
He is playing Russian roulette with this position.
Yeah, but
C4 is a wild move.
But all the chambers are loaded. How about going pawn hunting? Queen f4 check, queen c7 to f4. By the way, give me that pawn too while you're at it. And give me this pawn too.
Yeah, I just want to grab that pawn with my knight right now.
But guess
That's
what?
a possibility.
Vishy is now down on the clock.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. This is the moment Garry was talking about in his interview. I outplay him in the time pressure. And how is it possible that Vishy's at 20 seconds now?
You've got to make a move.
I don't think Vishy sees queen c7. I think he's calculating knight takes c5.
You've got to pick up a piece.
Vishy.
Make a move.
10 single digits. We're down to 5 seconds now for Vishy Anand. 4 seconds on the clock. Is he even aware of the fact that he needs to make a move? He's about to flag.
He flagged.
I'm seeing the time.
Oh, my God. Vishy just completely lost awareness of the clock.
What just happened?
Garry Kasparov comes away with the victory. They're discussing it now.
No, I thought I had time.
You heard it right there. I thought I had time.
He just completely lost focus.
Oh, my goodness. We're going to take a look at these final moments again to show you the flag. It just wasn't moving with the urgency that he needed down the stretch. He got lulled into a false sense of security with the time bank that he had built up, and you can see it right here. He's considering a couple of moves, isn't going to reach for it. Clock hits 0, and that's it. Garry Kasparov gets away with one.
And 2 big points, $2,000.
$2,000. 2 massive points, like you said, into his win column. And he's got a very solid advantage in the tournament overall. But Now here's where I'm concerned for kind of the mentality of a player like Viswanathan coming off of yesterday. We saw him looking maybe a little bit dejected after that fourth game where he had an opportunity to take advantage and equalize things. That's not the way you want to kick off day number 2.
Well, especially the final position, because we just thought Vichy had a big advantage. I mean, on the position. If he plays the move Queen C7, which is screamer, you always look for checks, right? So Queen C7 to Queen F4 check, you always look to munch pawns. And if Garry had captured, well, that pawn's dead, or that pawn's dead. Take your pick.
What was he afraid of?
I have no idea.
No,
he just forgot about the clock.
Absolute lack of clock awareness in a critical moment.
Wow.
He had no idea how much time he had on the clock. This is an unmitigated disaster, a catastrophe of like unimaginable proportions that such a star player could lose a game in the way he just did. I'm in shock, and I'm sure his fans all around the world are in shock as well.
Without a doubt, a shocking result here. Game 1 of the day on day 2. We're going to get a look at these updated score lines because it is more money in the pocket of Garry Kasparov. You can already see bonus money up to $3,000 with that win. But perhaps more importantly, it's those 2 points that he has secured himself because every game is more valuable today than it was yesterday. The same will happen again tomorrow as we look towards game or day number 3. Still 3 games to go, though. Still plenty of room to make it back up if he can recoup and not let this eat at him.
Funny you should put it like that because I need a chance to recoup and get ready for a break. Before we go on our break, a remarkable losing on time by Vichy. Let's check in with our friends at Q Boutique and see what they have for us today, showing their dedication to the highest level of chess with this exclusive, hey, this is cool, Clutch Chess, the Legends Polo. The shirt proudly displays the official logo of both the St. Louis Chess Club and Clutch Chess, the Legends on the front, available in both men's and women's sizes online at qboutique.com or in person. Come in person to the St. Louis Chess Club. Shop online.
All right, well, just as we did yesterday, we're going to throw a question to our 2 commentators and try to stump them. I'm worried for their brains.
I'm worried
already.
for you.
They're stumped as is with the result of the game we just saw. Well, here's the question we have for you. In contrast to what we saw yesterday, which player won the shortest high-level 960 game so far in 2025? This is, again, in terms of number of moves, not necessarily time spent. You've got your 4 choices there, bottom of the screen. Fabiano Caruana, Wonder Liang. We've got Hikaru Nakamura and Magnus Carlsen. We'll give you a few minutes to think. We'll give them a few minutes to think, and we'll see if we can stump them when we come back. Now, as we go to break, Yasser took the opportunity to sit down one-on-one with Grandmaster Viswanathan Anand. Enjoy, and we'll be right back. See you soon.
Well, to a certain extent, I think the pressure is off Anand. You know, it's such a tall order. No one thinks he's going to do it. So he can play really with a free hand.
And we jump ahead now to move 16. Anand playing the move A3, a very casual pawn move on the left side of the board.
This is actually a great move because it's saying to Kasparov, well, what are you actually doing in this position? Every move you make is actually going to compromise his position. It's a very clever move from Anand indeed.
And Kasparov spent 25 minutes studying this last move and finally played the move B5, but he obviously was not happy with the situation.
25 minutes, that's a lot of time. Both players have 40 moves to make in 2 hours. So that's a very large percentage of the time allotted to it.
And bishop takes F6, played by Anand, and Kasparov thinking about this situation, captured on F6 with the pawn.
Vishy, thank you again for joining me. It's delightful to talk with you. I have a question for you. The future of chess. We've changed, just as you said it. We've gone from the analog to the digital, and the computer makes everything look effortless, and it's tough. Chess in the future, where do you see it going?
I think we're going to have to be on our feet. We can't sit in one format and one type of clash a lot, because also public taste will demand variety.
Right.
So you'll do one kind of event, and part of the kick will be designing some new and creative event some new element. Maybe you'll have a bid for something during the game, or you'll go to the commentary room. Maybe you'll be allowed one card. And each of these things brings some drama, like when do you use that card?
Right.
Like in the Millionaire Show, you know, when do you use that? But we will experiment with different formats, maybe change the scoring system a lot. And we will, just like the chess players are becoming more and more opportunistic in their opening selection and you know what kind of battle they want to set out.
Right.
The sport itself will react like that, because also spectators are like that. You cannot say every spectator wants to watch a game from start to finish. Some of them want to leave it in the background and do some other work, but keep popping back and forth.
Right.
You wouldn't think that's your necessarily the audience you're addressing, but you know, it's worth thinking, keeping that in mind to address and so on. Something between fragmentation and flexibility, but I'll watch it evolve myself.
We have watched chess evolve, especially in the format, in terms of the speeds of chess, because essentially I grew up with 5-minute chess. 5-minute chess, that was it. But then the other type of chess was classical chess, or these very, very, very long games. What has been for you your best time controls? 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute, 5 hours?
I grew up like you with 6-hour games or 7-hour games.
Right.
But the adrenaline stuff was 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
No increment, of course. Increment was unheard of.
No.
And then at some point during these knockout events, I collided with the world of 3+2 or 5+3, and there are, I think those are the two. There might be
Most
one more
popular,
somewhere. Yeah. That, for me, was my junky time control. And then I noticed that there are people playing 1-minute games, and I thought, what's the point of that?
Bullet, yeah.
Bullet. For me, that's some alien environment.
Yeah.
But I realized that
coordination.
there are generations of kids now who think that's as natural as anything else.
Right.
You just do it, and that's it. I remember the horror when Tkachev said, for the faster time controls, put your pieces as much as possible in that same quadrant where the clock is, so that you have the shortest distance. And a lot of people say, but this is not chess, this is scandal and so on. But you know, that seems like very mild compared to today's environment, right?
Right.
I mean, now maybe you can get highly specialized designed mice for your computer to play online, whatever. And in fact, some online events, I tested whether whether I should just play on a tablet or something. It might be faster with a finger than a mouse. And so. But rapid, of course. I played a lot of 25-minute because roughly what Mazatlan and a little bit. Maybe before that we started discussing it. Garry and Nigel played the Stevie match and so on. Rapid chess was all we needed for many, many years. But now it's spreading on both sides. We find that slightly slower rapid might be interesting for some events. But even faster rapid. You can go from, instead of 25 minutes always, you can play, but 25 is with increment. It used to be 30 without increment.
Right.
But you can play it on this side as well, 15 plus thing, 10 plus thing, and so on. Slightly shorter thing. I mean, there's one for everything, and maybe in a dream world, hopefully, TV schedules will just dictate exactly the time available to both sides, and taking into account confession or whatever.
Right.
I think we should be generally very flexible and
be willing to play. Viswanathan and Anand, thank you so much for your time. Very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Two legendary world champions, Garry Kasparov and Viswanathan Anand, will do battle once again in Clutch Chess, The Legends, a special exhibition match celebrating their incredible legacies. Kasparov, a chess icon who held the title for 15 consecutive years, and Anand, a 5-time world champion, will compete in an epic Chess 960 match with $144,000 in prizes on the line. Catch this unique moment in chess history live from the new state-of-the-art facility at the St. Louis Chess Club. It's an unforgettable event you won't want to miss.
America's top chess players are set to compete in the most prestigious national championship in the world, the 2025 U.S. Chess Championship and the 2025 U.S. Women's Chess Championship, hosted by the newly expanded St. Louis Chess Club. Defending champions Fabiano Caruana and Carissa Yip will lead an illustrious field from October 12th through 25th, with a total prize fund of more than $400,000 on the line. Don't miss chess history in the making.
Welcome back, everybody, to the St. Louis Chess Club, where we had a bit of a shock to the start of our day with Garry Kasparov getting away with the victory here in game number 1. Viswanathan Anand losing on time, uncharacteristically. That said, we left you in the break with a question, a bit of an attempt to stump the commentators, if you will. A reminder of what that question was: which player won the shortest high-level 960 game so far in 2025? You guys have a guess?
Fabi.
You're going with Fabi. What about over here,
Now,
Maurice?
before I give my answer,
Yes.
I want to say it's not fair because this guy, Dash, has been calling all the Chess 960 games. He should be the one who's knowledgeable. But I am going to agree with you and say Fabi as well. What do you, before we say anything, what do you got, James?
They're both locking it in on A. I'm actually going to go with D. Oh, no, it's 1. Actually, ooh, I think you guys are right then. 1, it's Fabi. I was thinking just played shortest. Then I would go with Magnus, who would have had an early draw in one of our earlier events. But I think you guys are right. I'm going with with both of you. We're all A.
Is
Let's
this copy
find out
me, copy me,
the
copy
answer.
me?
Drum roll.
It's a Wonder Liang.
So,
In fact, one of the only three Chess 960 games I did not cover this entire year would, in fact, be the answer.
That's your excuse. I don't know about our excuse.
I wasn't really following that event like that closely.
14
moves is pretty quick.
This is a stunner. Stunner.
And while this victory didn't come quickly, it was still a shocking victory, to say the least. 2 points going over to Garry Kasparov in our rapid game number 1 against Viswanathan Anand. Again, beating him on time. So now 4.5 to 1.5 points apiece in the total score line. We do have that bonus money over there. And, of course, we'll check in with the bonus money for games 11 and 12. Because it was a decisive victory, these aren't going to climb any higher. It's still 4,500 apiece when it comes to those final 2 games of the event to take place tomorrow afternoon. Whew. How do we reset from here, though? Where do you go from here? Because I had looked at this game 1 as the opportunity to reset for Vishy Anand. And now I have concerns with where his mental state is going to be after looking dejected yesterday and losing in that fashion.
And I got to say, you know, the thing is, he has played 3 bad games. Like his trend. First of all, game 3 was a draw.
Right.
Should have been.
Should have been a draw. He
Instead,
lost.
he threw that one away. Game 4, it was a piece
up. Should have won
up
it.
Not winning the game, getting a draw. And then this one, he's supposed to win this
He's
game.
much better.
Queen, much better. Queen C7, Queen E7, any queen move.
Yeah.
So for him to actually flag under these circumstances it's not just shocking, it's depressing. This is Viswanathan Anand we're talking about. And for him to just see those seconds tick away, 3, down to 2, down to 1, down to 0, and he's oblivious to the clock.
It's not a flag where you're reaching for the piece and you just don't get there in time.
Right.
It was a complete unawareness.
And there you see that unawareness, as Vishy himself was surprised.
But notice he looked around almost disoriented. It wasn't one of those things where you look over and you're like, what did I do? You'd be angry at yourself. Just as we look at him there on the screen, he looks to his left, he looks to his right. He seems a bit disoriented. He's like, yeah, sure.
I lost track of the
and he
clock.
just, even forgot to shake hands in this moment. What?
What? Yeah, stunning.
I mean, so it's going to call into question a little bit of the form that he's in this tournament, but as well, I wonder how much of that is just the rhythm of that game. Having been ahead on the clock for so long, that to a certain degree, you just make that assumption. Well, the last time I checked, I was up 5 minutes on the clock, so I must still be good. If he's still playing, I must still be able to play, and in fact, that wasn't the case.
Yeah, lulled himself to sleep, but shocking because our whole careers, Maurice, we've been playing Blitz chess our whole lives. It's a part of our understanding of chess. The clock is the equipment of the board.
It's part of chess.
It's a part of it. You always check your clock. And especially Vishy, that was a stunning, stunning moment. And now they flip sides. It's Vishy with the white pieces.
And he will go a different way. And then we saw Garry go in game number 1.
And much more classical, I was going to say, play by Vishy, knight f3. Okay, I can see this from a mile away. You want to go knight g3. You want to play maybe the bishop out to b4. letting the queen come over to e1, putting the queen on d2 so that we can castle short. More sedate, easier play. And I think we're going to see a game with all of the pieces on the board. Much more interesting game than the first.
You talked about sedate play. That's what we had in the last.
Oh, that was terrible.
I mean, that was sedate. That was
to the point of, like.
We just thought it was going to be an easy draw, whatever. You mentioned that as well. He would get that draw if he had just gone for it directly. He decided not to. Garry imploded, right?
Right? Yeah, that was self-inflicted.
What Garry did was just not necessary.
At all. Yeah.
And caused himself with f4 and f5 to potentially have a disaster happen to him. And that's what we were all expecting until Vishy didn't move. So we'll see just how he treats the clock this game. But I have to tell you guys, I am still feeling the effect of the last game. It's such
really stunning.
A stunning thing, a shocking thing, a real downer when you see a professional of this class, this level, allow that to happen. Thankfully, he's got lots of points he could come back. He's going to have to show that championship medal as he plays these games.
Yeah. And shake off what was for us a shock. I've been calling Grand Chess Tours for years. And the players on the Grand Chess Tour often get down to a few seconds, like literally even 1 second. And they never lose on time. They're remarkable in getting in those moves. So sitting there watching Vishy burn a whole minute, just the whole minute passed, he didn't move, he lost on time, he seemed completely oblivious to his clock. No, I haven't been calling that. C7, C6. Again, we've seen this from the first game, opening up the bishop, prepping bishop c7. Not a big fan because I don't see that bishop as being the problem child. I see this one as being the problem child. If I'm in Vishy's shoes, I'm shooting my bishop out to the b4 square. I'm welcoming a trade, and I'm sitting there going, ha, 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 ha. I got rid of my bishop. What are you going to do? You're going to recapture with your rook, or you're going to double up your pawns. That's advantage white. So for me, the move c7, c6, I'm not a big fan.
He's being very careful, is Vishy right now, as he stops to think. And Garry must have realized from the last game, I just skirted the edge a little bit too much. Let me also pick up the pace. We'll see if they can continue that. We are only on move 3, and Vishy is deep in thought about what to do next. I think about time these guys should realize they're playing rapid blitz.
Yeah, and it's rapid for a reason. They call it rapidly.
Make some moves.
Yeah, it was aptly named.
Rapid, please. By the way, I forgot about my checkmating idea of queen f1, queen a6 mate. Bishop a5, just to try to provoke that pawn to b6 before dropping the bishop back to b4. I like bishop a5. Slow play. e2, e3, slow play.
Yeah.
Knight g3, queen f1, queen e2 on Vishy's agenda.
Well,
not much there. The engine actually is showing it doesn't like that move.
I didn't either.
It's just not a super incisive move. As the board gets refreshed there, and we say, what is Vishy after? I'm concerned. I'm concerned. This format, it definitely promotes comebacks.
Yes, that's the concept of the clutch chess, as you.
But if you start losing all your games,
right, there is an insurmountable point.
At some point where it's like you lost a lot of games, dude. Like this is not what you want for yourself. So Vishy has to right the ship. That's the theme right now. Right. And at the moment, we just saw 3 moves in, and already we're concerned that he's not playing hyper aggressively, or maybe he just feels like no need to panic. Don't worry, guys. I'm cool. I'm calm. I'm collected. I'll make it happen.
Sometimes you can be a little too chill. I mean, again, for me, the move e2, e3, it doesn't address the main issue. And give it a second thought, Maurice. Bishop a5. Had he played this move, you don't want to move the rook. You don't want to play bishop c7. I mean, it's not terrible if you play bishop c7. We're just going to trade, and you're not castling. You're committed to keeping your king on the queen side. But if you do play the move b7, b6, it does raise the question just a little bit. Like, are you satisfied weakening the queen side?
Your potential pawn shields.
Yeah.
On that side. I agree with you.
Exactly. And the lack of ambition that the move e2, e3 shows, it rankles. I am not a big fan.
Much akin to game number 1, while we aren't necessarily finding our way into direct symmetry, we are finding ourselves to somewhat mirror the clock situation from the first go-around. Once again, Garry spending much more time out the gate than Vichy, but we'll see if that holds true.
Since he wasn't punished in game 1, maybe he's figuring, don't worry, guys. You know, you guys are making big points. You saw what happened in the last game. You saw what happened in other games. I'm okay. I'm going to handle my business. But at the moment now, shaking his head there, and again shaking his head.
I think Garry's realizing the move c7, c6 did not address the issues. By the way, we like talking about the breaks in the opening. To my eyes, I'm white. I love the move c2, c4. I'm eyeballing that as the potential. I'm also eyeballing the move e3, e4. So let's just put a move on the board, if you don't mind. I'm just going to play knight f6, knight g3, knight g6, queen to f1, and I'm going to repeat e7, e6. So now with the move c2, c4, and bishop d7, just getting ready to castle short. Nope, I'm going to cut you off at the pass. You're not castling. So this is how black can get into a little trouble. You're about to say,
well,
Chips.
but none of this deals with your original idea, which is what if the bishop comes all the way over to a5?
a5, yep.
So how do we stop that?
You can't. You're going to have to play b6, or you're going to use a tempo to play the move bishop c7.
A5 myself. Pawn to a5. Then I recapture with my rook.
That's true. But what you've done is you've stopped me from playing the move bishop a5, but okay, we're just going to take this move back so the audience can follow our analysis. The move a5 sure does put the kibosh on my bishop coming out to b4 as well as a5. But now you've limited yourself. You say, I'm not castling queenside.
Yeah.
You're going to castle kingside. Now I know where you're going. I'll adjust accordingly. By the way, I think we saw knight d7.
Knight d7 and a4 on the board, remembering that a5 idea. And you've got white thinking that I could play a5 and a6. And this is, again, Alpha Zero style. In
dropping the pawn on
the H-pawn is usually the pawn we see when black castles, or either side castles, kingside. But here with the pawn going down there, that pawn could be a bone in the throat. A lot of times we like to use that pawn in lever fashion, open up the side. But a lot of times, Alpha Zero, the wonderful engine that was created by DeepMind, Google's DeepMind, showed that a pawn sitting, just being a nuisance in enemy territory, can be quite the problem. So a4 is definitely one of those, I'm going to put a little finger type move and moves. And that now a5 is a natural reaction just to make sure this pawn doesn't continue to expand.
I liked how Grandmaster Edward Gufeld described that pawn on a6 or the pawn on h6. It's like a snake at your throat. You know, it's kind of a boa constrictor. You don't like it there. You just don't like it.
I don't want a snake anywhere near me as far as I'm concerned,
in a response.
Whoa. Okay. This is the Scorpion, right? Garry's true to his nature. His nature is he likes to play dynamic and enterprising chess. Is he doing it again to himself? Is he making his own life difficult? This is not a move I would have aspired to myself, but okay, e7, e5. Throws a gauntlet on the board. What are you going to do?
So I'll tell you this, we wanted a little bit more action
well, we're
from
getting
game 1 to game 2. We're definitely getting it this time around.
Yeah, exactly. We sure are.
That is for darn sure. And by the way, this move is not a real threat. If you push, you have actually given white this French structure.
Again.
All right?
Yeah.
This knight could easily just drop back and then play for all the breaks, the f3 break being a very important one, and also the c4 break being an important one as well.
Exactly.
the possibility here of the move c4,
Also
by the
very
way,
nice.
is also interesting because this bishop, you know, it could always get in the game, but it's also pressuring this pawn. Boy, I would love to see c4 land on the board just because it's so wild and woolly.
It's a visual move.
Very visual.
And this bishop on b1, once you do play the move c4, it's got a natural pathway to f5 and pinning the knight to the king. Another move that just, again, I find myself very attractive is munch munch. I would like to encourage black to capture that kind of freeze my queen just that ever little bit, loosen black up on the queen side, and if we were going to get a position like this, well, you can see the queen ready to rumble. You're right, though. I would have preferred the pawn on
c4. What's your bishop doing on b1?
Okay.
Please get it in the game.
It's an ugly.
You know, wanted to do it one step at a time. By the way, did we play a4 with the idea of playing a5 in the near future?
Yes,
we did.
Absolutely. This is some good stuff. e5, Garry playing with fire after these moves.
It's hilarious. Sorry to interrupt you there, Maurice. It's hilarious. I had criticized Vichy. E2, E3. That move lacks ambition. A4? Well, that's as ambitious as you can get. Wait a minute. And E5? That's as ambitious as you can get. Go ahead, Vichy.
It's on the board. This fire and brimstone again. This is the kind of chess we want to see. This is sharp. I don't know what the result's going to be because we're being shocked by results. The last 3 results, we've been stunned.
Yes,
right?
clear.
That's for sure. In the last 3 games, this match is completely unpredictable. But with a move like this, I would say, yeah, you can't tell the storyline the way it's going to develop. And this last move, E5, I'm not sure this is something black should have done, but we'll see.
Right, nothing's gone the way we've expected, and I'd venture a guess that Vishy Anand did not expect this E5 move because now he has spent quite a bit of time. We're about to see clocks nearly equalized here, so a bit of a different picture from the first go-around between these two.
I remember having dinner with Bent Larson where we were discussing a game that was going on in the tournament, and White had played h4. And Bent looked at me and he said, Yasser, can you believe that the player never played h5? You played h4. You said A. What does a2, a4 say to you? I'm going to grab some space. Vishy's thinking about it, but the natural move here is a5. And you said it yourself, Maurice, we're not even worried about the move e4. We got a French, and we're ready to play c4 and talk about that snake at your throat. a5, a6 lurking, f2, f3, bishop g3. So Vishy's played a4. Well, come on, man. You know, you said A. Let's go with B. Let's play a5. Let's go.
He had that edge on the clock. Here he is once more thinking, I hate to, again, clock unaware at the moment, but come on, Vishy. Any move. At some point, though, I feel like it's just going to click in.
Yeah.
That, you know, he was one of the fastest players in history when he was a young man. Back in the early 90s, he was one of the fastest players you've ever seen. And he was thinking for some time, and look at this.
We got it done, bro.
C4 is on the board. Hello. He is just risen the temperature on the chessboard with that last move.
Turned it up. Yeah, I like it. I like it. C4.
We can get behind this move. That's what he was thinking about.
You wanted to see it. Your wish has been granted.
Exactly.
C4 is on the board. It's a lot of tension now on those central squares.
Now, I don't like capturing because just jumping ahead. If I get to recapture, it's sort of like my piece is going to be sitting pretty on the C4 square. And why is A4 useful? Well, you don't want to defend the pawn. I'm just going to force your knight away. And if you play B5, why did I play A4? Well, just so I could rip open the position. And that bishop on B1, why did we play C4? Hello. That's a rook.
A nice line indeed, but also, Yaz,
yes,
you do have another problem in this position. Takes. There's also just takes, isn't there? Not sure how.
Can we take a recapture? Knight takes C5.
Knight takes. You don't mind this position, I guess.
I'm losing my castling privileges.
Castling rights?
Yeah, for a whole pawn though.
You know we're going to try to win that pawn back.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You never get it.
Never going to give it back
never,
to me.
No.
I got a feeling that I will be able.
I'm not giving you nothing. I'll take it back. I'll recap.
Actually, I have another idea. It's not just.
No, you don't.
Now
your
bishop
pawn.
to A2?
What if, bishop A2. I want it to be more aggressive, James.
Okay.
And play maybe a move like this one and prepare to castle.
You're cruising for a bruising now. The one thing that you didn't want to allow is a queen on H8
this move like this
to get
one,
into
right?
the game,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I got a battery suddenly that I'd like to share.
Suddenly you do have a battery.
Yeah, to share.
And I don't have a chance because your king is going to hide on this square. So
I'm
that
so
is-
lucky.
Yeah. For now, trust me. After the disposition here, I find it very hard to believe.
Here's what I'm learning.
Now that you've said it, let's play bishop C3 first.
A move that we wanted before.
Yes. And now if you say, I want to keep my pawn, I'll take that.
And
now
castle.
I'll castle.
No, bring your king to the rook.
King to the rook.
Yeah.
And now, give me the pawn back. Give me the beautiful diagonal here.
Now you're
your
cruising.
king is stuck in the middle.
I hate where my king is now as black.
No, white's all day.
White all day.
All day.
So C4 on the board.
By the way,
on the board.
Garry responded faster than I expected him to. I thought that move was going to.
Well, he spent a good 3 minutes on that thing. He just made the move. So you see 15:53 on his clock. Now time ticking away here on Vishy's side. So he opts to not look for the trade. He's going to complete the connect four. David Howe is very happy somewhere in Norway right now to see that the connect four completed.
And we have what Lawrence Day might call the big clamp. He's got the center has Garry, but I'm not unhappy in Vishy's shoes here. I'm thinking, bring my bishop out, play the move F3, bring my bishop out, please trade, open up my queen. And by the way, with the move F3, I got another one. I'm going to play a very bad move. Please forgive me, Garry Kasparov fans. But, ooh, that move could suddenly, no. I mean, White's got the initiative here.
There goes pawn power and Hans Camacho again with those levers. Sorry, Yasser. I'm going to keep referencing the book that you so dearly love.
Mass suicide. Seppuku.
Listen,
Yes.
this is the kind of position that Vishy in his prime plays just with exact style. He plays it with incisiveness. He starts hitting you. What I've seen so far, he has not played aggressively. He just hasn't. He has not played aggressively. Remember that game, was it game one or was it game two? The game he had the white pieces where he played the rapid game where he played King B1.
Yes.
And we were waiting for some
advantage.
Come on, go get him, hit him hard. We were waiting for H5. He played G5 and slowed up the game.
Right.
We haven't seen that Vishy yet.
Unleashed. Yep.
When he starts playing like that, he's going to be super dangerous in this match. And it's moves like F3, even Benko style.
By the way, G4.
G4. It reminds me of my suggestion to you when you were playing Dragon Barlov all those years ago.
B4, let's
you played this kind of move. But this kind of move just pry open the pawn chain, try to start cracking open both sides of the board.
Hilarious, brings back memories. The first time I ever met Vishy across the board was in Dubai, the Olympiad. I was playing board one for the United States. He was playing board one for India. I was on the black side of a French defense, and he was trying to keep the clamp on me and to keep my pieces all backwards, right? Passive. And now he's playing the French defense reversed.
French structure, right?
Reversed. I find that hilarious. I'm looking at F3, Maurice. I'm just saying, just go ahead and make a move. Like you don't want to take. This would be very useful. Thank you for helping me develop my pieces, right? My queen suddenly came out. My bishop suddenly came out. This is not what you want to do. So you want to play the move knight F6, right? Just develop. And now I love your G4 idea. Like, give me that. Like,
that wasn't my idea. You actually suggested it first.
Like, wow.
But here,
he took
what just happened?
He took on D5, I believe.
I can't.
Well, he's got a very crystal clear idea. If he can bring a rook to the C file first, something like bishop A2? No, I'm not sure I like it either, but I'm trying to justify his play. He opened.
How do you even do it?
I like the tension. I like
the tension was wonderful. Why break the tension? And how do you, as you mentioned,
exploit the C file?
Give me the solution to this math problem. Get your rook on C1 somehow.
Right. Okay. I'm anticipating him playing the move bishop A2. If you didn't want to play F3, I'm anticipating bishop A2. Let's say you got to defend the pawn.
No, he's played G4.
Ooh.
Not sure why he needed to play.
Sacrificing for B7. Oh, Vichy.
Oh, are you serious? It's funny.
Remember the battery?
Very interesting idea indeed.
Remember the battery. Oh, my goodness. Could he have been...
Wow.
That was why he didn't want to see the pawn on C6. So he took on D5 to prep a piece sacrifice. And he's saying, let's see you defend the pawn on B7.
Not in this position, you don't.
Let's see you defend the pawn on
C6. You're trying to figure out how to get this B1 bishop into the game in a useful manner. And that's such a creative way to do so.
That could be sweet. That could be sweet. Knight takes E4. I don't think you can take the knight.
No, I don't think you can.
And Vichy is saying, please take my knight.
Okay. But how is this? Is this our first look at the kind of Vichy you're talking
about? Look, Garry just looked
Yeah.
up because he sensed the sacrifice is coming. He knows Vichy's got something up his sleeve.
It's a dynamic move, but if you wanted to play G4 and trick your guy, why don't you just play it? Instead of playing
C takes D5. I preferred F3 and G4, but
I'm just saying if you are going to play, like if we go back a couple of moves to right here.
Yep.
If you really want to be sneaky about it, and you play this
with
move,
G4,
and you take me
and
here,
now take
and now you take, you go, why is he doing this? But this pawn is straight up hanging,
now
and this pawn, your structure is crashing.
You got no,
and now you could do it the exact same thing,
no options.
But no options.
Right. It took away your ability to play something else.
So it seemed to me G4, if again, with the same plan, would have just been just as fast. And it works. It actually does work, if that was your intention.
Exactly.
You were saying he wanted to clear the diagonal, but that would have cleared it just the same.
So instead of CD5, G4 from the initial position was much more incisive.
Yes.
I agree.
And also much more cunning, like sneaky. Because you might think, because look, when I first saw G4, I didn't see this idea at all.
Right.
This move, you know, you're thinking maybe I'm going to play for H3 and play Benko style, kind of opening up these lines. That's what my brain was, not realizing that this possibility existed.
And Bishop takes
with the sacrifice.
Yeah.
So it would have been sneaky to play this way.
Truly.
This one is more transparent, and it's on the board, and now Garry...
Look at that
look of disgust on his face.
Well, he's suddenly sensing that his plan of E5 and E4 was very ambitious. Very ambitious, and maybe unjustified. He took strategic risks, losing time on development. You know what might have lured Garry into the whole E5, E4? Was A4. Garry probably looked at that move and said, you know, you're wasting time. You're giving me a chance to seize the initiative. I'm gonna do that, underestimating what Vichy has just done.
Now, what if, as opposed to taking this G pawn, I develop like my light squared bishop to defend the F pawn?
Okay, so a very good move, for example, would be bishop G6, just as you suggested. In this particular case, what you might not like is that the bishop is actually in a bit of a pin. In the move F2, F3, prepares to, you know, my favorite living condition, winning a pawn.
Going for the pawns.
Going for the pawn. And by the way, also, knight to G3 is also another tempo. The bishop is actually vulnerable.
Because of problem piece, in a way.
Now, another way was to say, okay, let me just refortify that pawn with the move G6. I'm not a big fan of this move either, pretty much for the same reasons. I can capture and play knight G3, or I still like the entire idea
the Hans Kamac move. Pawn powers, pawn levers. Man,
This guy's not going to show up to work tomorrow if you keep throwing that name around.
Human resources.
I mean, we know how much you love. You know, you're coming around to it.
I need a safe zone, everybody. You know, just this
Put him in a bubble.
This man is hurting
Surrounded
me.
by pawns.
Hurting me over here.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, my gosh.
Levers are good, yeah. Levers are good. Okay.
Yep.
Kamac.
8:45, by the way, on the clock. Sorry to jump in and take the role that you've been taking in game number 1 of the day. Garry has still been thinking for some time.
Time eval.
And just like that, again, going into this move, he was only down about a minute and a half on the clock. Now he's down over 7 minutes at this point.
Well, his world just got rocked because this is not Garry Kasparov. Garry Kasparov is the man who's making the sacrifices, not receiving them. Knight takes e4. Garry knows that this bishop coming out with the queen backing up the power on the diagonal of bishop takes b7, he would lose. He would just simply lose. So Garry is like, uh-oh.
He looks determined, though. He looks determined. But that said, yes, you're right. G4, one of those moves that became famous at some point, I would say.
Karpov, Kasparov?
No, when G4 became everybody's move, you know, started with the Carey's attack.
Oh, I see. Yes.
And then G4 started getting played by
Philidor,
everybody in any position. Shirov was doing it famously so.
Yeah.
Slavs, you just named it. G4 was landing on the board. G4 was just boom, boom. Everybody wanted to play the move G4. And here, a dynamic pawn thrust. It's not the alpha 0S type. H4, A4 type moves. G4 in this case, cracking the structure, creating imbalances, saying to black, I'm not just going to sit here and chill and develop my pieces.
No.
I'm going to create energy immediately, and you have to figure out how to handle it.
Yep.
And so we're seeing it right now, and that's costing a lot of time on the clock to Garry.
Costing him dearly.
James, what did you say the time control was for these guys?
This is 25-10.
No, I don't believe it. It looks like 7 minutes for 8 moves. Seven minutes for 8 moves. Garry Kasparov started with 25.
Starting with 25, now down to 6.5 to his name. I mean, I know he's played pretty brilliantly in those kind of panic times so far in our events, but there's a critical mass that you can't necessarily let yourself. There's a tipping point.
He better not lose on time.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, commentators, defibrillator.
Like, seriously?
Yeah.
Somebody just, Chris Bird, go over there and just, hello, time.
A little shove.
Like, come on, what are you doing? And
So we've explored 3 of the options. Taking and defending in 2 different ways. Are those the 3 that he's also considering? There's nothing else.
There's nothing else. I mean, if you allow White's pretty clear about it. I'm going to take this pawn, and maybe I'll sacrifice anyway. Thank you for asking.
And G6, after much thought,
wow,
he's played a move that we felt was pretty natural. He's come around to it, but it just spent so much time, precious seconds doing it. And now Vichy, I'm going to say I'm a bit surprised.
Okay.
He should have been ready.
G6, you should have had this one plotted out.
Absolutely.
Next move should have been landing. I would have done it, just waited if he plays G6.
Right.
Yeah.
Boom.
Boom, boom.
Just boom. As soon as you play, boom. Vichy here stopping to look at the position is a bit of a shock to me.
Push the pace.
Exactly.
Push the pace.
Exactly. Show some confidence. Shows, that I'm the one who's gonna start taking over this match.
And to bring an analogy from the sport that I grew up in as a track and field athlete, like you want to control the pace of the race. You want to make people run your race, right? And in this case, great. You've set the tone, you've set the pace, but you have to continue along with it. You have to follow through on the game plan.
Exactly. And quickly, I remember a U.S. championship game I was playing against Dmitry Gurevich. I had a terrible position. I really, really did. But it was complicated. That was the problem for Dmitry. It was complicated, and he was using a lot of time. And I thought to myself, well, the only chance I got is to exploit the time. And it was like the weirdest thing. I was analyzing the position, and I'm saying, Dmitry's going to play this move. and I have to prepare my response. So Dimitri's thinking, he made a move. Instantly came my response. He was shocked. He was like, and he started thinking, and I said, he's going to play this move. Immediately responded, and he just collapsed because the moves just kept coming. See, I would have thought to myself, Gary's going to play G6. I'm going to play knight G3. Give me the pawn.
The most important thing came at the end there, and the moves just kept coming.
Right, bang, bang, bang.
Because you make the move, then you have to keep up the pace. You have to say, stick with me, or I'm going to drop you.
Exactly.
That's right, and I'm super confident at the moment because I'm guessing your moves, and I'm just responding as soon as you do. That's really a psychological whammy.
Precisely.
You don't want to be in that situation, and then your clock starts to tick even more and more. Exactly. So the fact that Vichy is not ready with the move knight G3 you have there on the board, or the move F3, something, whatever it is you're going to play, is a bit of a surprise, as though G6 itself surprised him when it was one of the main candidate moves in the position.
And indeed, maybe even the only move. And yeah, you would say, okay, come on, Vichy, you've got it ready, let's go. And especially because Garry is down to, what are we looking at?
It's 8:16 on the clock for Garry, now 13:10 to Vichy's name.
Yeah, but again, you said psychologically, you hate it in a complicated position when your opponent comes right back at you with a, you expected the move, but nonetheless, would you please take 5 minutes, let me
Makes you feel like they know something you don't.
Right. And Vichy, look at him. He is so focused. Outside of F3 or knight G3, what are the alternatives here, Maurice?
I don't see it. I don't see it. I think you have to go for the structure. You have to play you said A. In this case, G, you must say F.
Right, let's go.
Just do the move. Go, just go.
Right.
Make a move. Don't, please.
Freeze.
Please don't just freeze.
For the sake of discussion, I'll offer a bad idea that goes a different way, but maybe now taking my light-squared bishop over to A2, threatening that backwards pawn. On E5. Of course, it now removes all the opportunities for the sacrifice that we were talking about
on E4.
Before. I feel like, though, now we just invite the defense from our own light-squared bishop or the knight, coming out.
To defend the pawn,
You know what? I'd give your move kudos if you just made it.
If you just made it.
Just play the move.
If it was prepared.
Whoa. He fell in love with your idea.
How do you get a rook to the C file?
But he's just given up, castling permanently on that side. I guess he figures his king can just waltz over there. But you see the move G4 on the right side. You see the move rook A3 on the left side. And you wonder, how are they connected?
I got a harmonic convergence for you.
Please.
Please. Let's imagine, just for argument's sake, the move knight here. I'm going to give you a Hakasito. You're going to block and cover. Now, remember I told you the problem child? Well, what if that problem child became an all-star? Ooh, maybe he's combining an attack on the king side with a shift, and maybe even an exchange sacrifice on C7, like something like, oh, you can't castle.
Okay, but Garry very quickly played bishop to D6, only move, and now just moved his king out of danger. And said, okay, you played a nice maneuver, but
it ends there.
So what?
But what do you do? Now, there is the benefit that the rook on A8
is stuck.
So that is a plus for what has just occurred. But how do you do some kind of...
I think it's F3. Let's go.
F3.
Break up the team.
Trying to break up the team.
Bishop G3 on Vichy's agenda. He's got some momentum. And as you said it, the rook on A8. That's your problem, child.
Okay, but help me understand the eval bar then in this situation. Because by all accounts, you just told me there's a rook, which is worth 5 points, locked away on the left-hand side of your screen. And yet, black, by the engine's evaluation, is up a full point.
Well, the problem was when Vichy played G4, he was breaking down the center with the move knight takes E4. If black keeps the big clamp in the center, white's pieces are going to be suffocating a bit. But it does question, I do have the question, why is the eval bar in Garry's favor at the moment? It's not intuitively obvious for me.
Yeah,
Are we playing knight b6, by the way? What are we doing here with the black pieces? I do want to capture. I do want to play knight takes, and I do want to play bishop g3. So I've got a lot of happy moves, easy moves. What exactly should Garry be doing?
It is not self-evident to me either what the plan should be here for black, although that a-pawn could potentially be a problem. Okay, your sacks on e4 could happen, right?
Correct.
It's a threat. So let's clear out with a5, make sure that never is an issue. My rook is able to move. So you're not sacking on e4, I imagine.
So let's just show the audience why the sacrifice is no longer as powerful. Remember, a moment ago, the king was on c8, the bishop was on b8. In this particular, you've given yourself a defense.
Exactly.
Okay.
On top of which, if we now add something else, when you play a5, the pawn on a4
is stuck.
And so when knight b6, and he has played a5, and when the knight goes to b6,
I've got to play
you're
b3.
going to have to play b3, weakening those dark squares around your king, waiting for a bishop a3 check.
No, I'm not waiting for that. I'm going to trade off that.
You want to kill this guy?
I'm not waiting for you to land on my doorstep, Maurice. I'm going to play bishop b6. I'm hoping to trade on my terms. Like, if I could play knight takes g3, then...
No. Okay, so now I play queen f6, maybe?
Defending the bishop?
No. I want to replace my bishop with a queen.
Okay, so how we do
if it ever happens.
So you want to take...
No. I will play queen f6. You called it defense. You remember when you were trying to checkmate with your queen maneuvering, my friend, queen d1, queen a4, blah, blah, blah. I'm doing the same thing right now. I'm trying to get my queen to sneak over to that side in one move.
Makes sense.
Although, and there we see bishop g3
Let me
on the board.
And now you're saying the key move is queen f6.
I was just saying I could replace, instead of trying to trade, I play queen f6. If you play something like g5, I'll just drop back to e7.
Whoa. I'm a pawn grabber.
But you're going to grab a pawn.
I'm going to grab a pawn.
You want to sack on e4 with a bishop,
correct.
I imagine. I see you.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay, so what I'm trying to trick Maurice into doing is capturing my bishop, because then, of course, I've got the fork against the queen and the bishop, and life is good for white.
Right.
Maurice saw that a mile away. He's not going to go for that.
So, but
I'm going to take.
You take, and so now I am going to take with the f-pawn.
All right.
And when you sack,
correct.
Now the question becomes, after bishop takes g3.
Correct. Now I pause. Because should I go for this, or do I do this
and then take back and get 3 pawns for the piece?
Yeah, but I don't know. Is it worth it? I mean, I'm thinking black is a piece up. I only got 2 pawns.
Is it only 2?
And
I thought you had clocked 3 of them.
It felt like 2.
It's only 2. Well,
it felt like 2. That was my issue. Bishop g3, a big moment. And by the way, James,
still waiting on that response, and now we're just about to hit that 4-minute mark once again.
By the way, also there is.
Let's
get back to the party move, knight b6. Let's get back to that move we had talked about.
Knight b6.
A5 was made to also freeze your pawn. So what are you doing here?
Pausing, thinking. Can I allow knight takes a4?
Whoa.
Bishop c2?
Whoa. Wait a second, guys.
Yes.
We've neglected something.
What did we forget?
Why has Garry only got 346 on his clock?
We didn't neglect anything.
We just said
no.
Did you just say that?
Yeah.
I was oblivious.
Well, you were focused at knight b6.
I was so much on the board and the action and the sex appeal of that move. Okay.
And queen f6.
Queen f6.
Okay. That was your move.
That I made earlier, and Garry is thinking attack also. Okay. But still, 1040 for Vichy?
You know the weird part? White can still castle kingside.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the queen on f6.
Yes.
Yeah, just have to get the knight out of the way.
How do we force you to play bishop takes g3, knight takes g3 so I can castle short? That would be groove. That would be nice. How can I do that?
Doesn't seem self-evident.
h3 with the idea of, it doesn't feel forcing. So I'm going to fall back on our previous move. How did you recapture? With the pawn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me see how I can. Okay.
But you had a way to get 3 pawns.
Did I? Tell me.
Because you could take with the bishop. Take.
Take.
I mean, unless I'm counting wrong.
Okay, that's pawn number 1.
That's pawn number 1.
Okay.
You take my bishop.
Yep. No. I took this bishop.
Correct. And now you wanted to take on d5. That's pawn number 2.
That's pawn number. Oh, by the way, hello.
Oh, and the knight's hanging.
Hello.
So what was?
Whoa! What are you doing?
Also. Yeah.
What's wrong with? Hold on.
Exactly.
Okay, now that you guided my hand towards the g8 square, gift me the pawn. Gift me the pawn.
Which means I have to take with the d pawn here.
Okay. Gift me the pawn.
And now I have to take your bishop.
On g3.
Correct.
Okay.
But now, what did you get? 1 pawn so far?
1 so far.
But if you take on b7, you're hitting a rook.
That's what I'm saying.
But I have to play rook a7 against that.
No, you do not. Don't you? Oh, you covered me. How did the rook get to d8?
I got you. I got that covered.
That's hilarious.
I got that.
Okay.
You were so excited.
So excited. I mean, I thought I saw mate in 1. I mean, my whole Christmas tree, like, wait a minute. Hey, dude.
But bishop back.
But boom.
We're back again.
I got this. I got you. I got you.
You do have it.
And what has Vishy
on
played?
the board, we've got something entirely different.
What do we have?
Kenny's playing these.
Queen g2.
A move we didn't even consider. That was nowhere on our radars.
No, it was not, because we were looking at the much more forcing play with captures on f5 and e4. Queen g2. Okay, bad move. You are not going to play this move, but in Vishy's favor, bad move. This is what I really wanted to say. It's hilarious. I could castle and set up for, I was trying to exploit the queen on f6.
Mm-hmm.
That is a funny, you don't see that type of a tactic. So queen g2, he's trying to say, my threat is to take on d6 and play queen g3. Trade on my terms. Now, Maurice, you've been anxious to play the move knight b6 and provoke b3. But what did you accomplish with that provocation?
Well, at the moment, not much. Maybe king a7. King a7, harmonize the pieces further.
And this is what you're aiming for.
This was my fantasy.
Yeah.
To avoid the trade in this position. And boy, you let this happen.
And
it's all forget it.
And it's all everything about this for white.
Yeah, with good reason. The training is good. But queen g2, no.
I mean, 2 minutes on the clock, though. That is right now Vishy's saving grace. It's 2 minutes on the clock here for Garry. So while advantage to Garry, we're dipping below that 2-minute mark once again, and he's going to have to actually capitalize on it.
Unbelievable. And we see that there are very few trades. We're only on, move 13.
Move 13.
And this kind of clock management, this kind of time management is simply unacceptable. For the two of them. They know it. You won't have to tell them, as Garry's time is now just ticking down inexorably. What is he doing? Is he aware? Is it the same as with Vishy? Is he aware? He's not seeming agitated enough for someone. I say you should keep your cool, but excuse me.
Right?
It's about to be panic time.
Yeah.
Play. I think that Garry is still rightfully concerned about these sacrifices, but I liked what you did a moment ago. Somehow you got your king to a7, knight e7. Isn't this the moment that Vishy strikes with a queen trade?
Yeah, knight
takes, queen g3. So at least I can recapture and pressure the pawn.
It's a questionable move, at least from the engine's perspective. First move to get a miss entirely.
Engine did not like 97,
did not like it
James?
at all.
No? Okay. So maybe time trouble is rearing its ugly head. And Maurice, you said it so well. I mean, it makes fools of everybody. Everybody.
And
plays
by the
badly
way,
in time trouble.
there's so many ideas, actually, if we just go back
To the current
game
position?
because
Yep.
the take on F5, the take on E4, the sack on E4.
Right.
Vishy has to decide on the one he wants to do. If he's going to play conservatively and go to the end game, he needs to do that quickly. Sooner is better.
Quickly.
But taking on E4 is also quite a saucy move.
The difference is, remember those positions where you were playing bishop takes G3 a moment ago and not capturing the bishop on E4? Let's say I go takes, and you didn't want to capture the bishop on E4 because knight takes E4, right? And knight takes
now it comes with check.
Bingo. Now it comes with check.
And he's taking on E4, takes.
Okay. Check.
Are we going to see a sacrifice on E4? And it's there.
Bam.
Bishop takes E4 by Vishy. And Garry double exclaimed by the engine. Garry said, I can't touch that. And now Gary's played knight B6 quickly. That was his plan, as he couldn't take the pawn, but he is now hitting a pawn himself. This board is on fire.
Yeah, but with no time on the clock. You wanted the battle to erupt. You got it. But you want the battle to erupt when you have a lot of time on your clock to think about your key moves. Knight B6.
It's the same as the last game, remember?
Open,
Yes.
1 minute to 6.
We're
Vishy with the edge.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Right.
It's a kick in the step for both players, though, here, and you have to hope that Vishy will have taken the learning from the last game and not let that time advantage slip so much. And you can see he's moving a little bit quicker.
Mm-hmm. Bishop C2, bringing the bishop out of the bishop is no longer in capture. But isn't that a pesky? Isn't it time to recapture? Munch? Okay.
Right.
Attacking the rook.
Only minus to this
Yes, please.
that I can see is your king doesn't get to A7
as before.
as safely as before.
Right.
In fact, in this position now, I could play rook A3.
He did capture, but I think he captured with the bishop on E8.
And not a happy move, according to the engine. And I got to say, at the moment, white is castled. That rook on D1. He doesn't have to castle kingside. He's castled, and he could castle later if he wants to. But he's actually castled. Somehow that rook on H1 in a regular setup has teleported to the C3 square. All of white's pieces look pretty decent. Okay, the knights are not in great places, but they look pretty decent. And black is currently sort of down a little bit of a tempo, and the king would have to go to A7. So in this position, does it behoove white to maybe blast open the position with E4?
Yes. Taking advantage, however temporary it may be, that the king is currently misplaced. E4 was that whole idea of winning the E4 square for the knight, so we could play knight takes E4 and fork the queen as well as the bishop.
I think that move would
Vishy is thinking about
Garry if it lands on the board.
E4 is definitely a move where boom!
E4.
Garry actually knew it was good. Yeah.
So
and by the way, we were talking about responding instantly to your opponent's move. Garry knew that E4 was a really, really strong move, and now he's played Queen E6 and again returned the ball. By the way, only a minute on his clock.
Exactly.
One bad piece in white's position. James, what do you do here? I've told you one bad piece in white's position.
Yeah, my knight on F1.
Knight on F1.
Yeah, get it in the game.
Knight E3.
Bam.
Plays itself. Bring the knight into play.
But if it plays itself, then I'm wondering why we're still seeing that clock on the white side of the board ticking away, right? I'm starting to wonder, because from a 5-minute advantage down to a 4-minute advantage, we are very much going the way we went.
We got another move.
One, it isn't going to be the knight improving himself.
Hold on. We're just talking about improving the pieces. The rook on D1 wants to attack the queen, and Vishy is thinking, captures, and on a good day, I can play rook takes E7, thanks to the fact that the bishop is pinned. So he played rook E1, instantly came bishop takes C2. Vishy is recaptured with the rook. By the way, stepping out of any potential tempo. And Garry, look
that
at
move, rook e1.
Cool as a cucumber.
Yes.
King A7.
That move, rook e1, did not really
resonate, no?
Yeah, put the finger on the position.
I agree.
It's amazing in chess. You make one slight misstep, and then you look back at the other person's position, and you go, wait a minute, how come their position is organized now? All of Black's pieces look perfectly fine. Everybody looks good. The king is no longer in danger. The rook is now out of prison, about to go to c8, and now Vishy plays the move knight to e3, maybe one move too late, and
the rook on d1. By the way, now we're looking at takes and takes on g3, and maybe that rook on d8 is the one that's working instead of the rook on e1.
You might have to play e5 if you're white, just to make sure this position doesn't open up in a bad way. And Garry, feeling the harmony of his pieces, plays rook a to c8, Bishop 106
B4,
left on his clock.
Bishop b4. I don't like the move rook e1. I think that Vishy is actually mishandled his business these last 2-3 moves. Don't like what he's done. And the crazy part is he had the 5 minutes. Garry wasn't the one with the time.
5 minutes has become 4:20, and the time hasn't changed on Garry's clock. He's been essentially playing with his 10-second increment, keeping himself just above that 1 minute mark so far. Looking at rooks staring at each other, of course, here on the C-file. As always, the question is, do I trade on your terms, or do I wait for you to take?
I'm getting a little bit worried that this bishop on G3 is biting on empty air, and I'm getting worried that the move bishop b4 is going to leave me high and dry, meaning that I've got no attack, and this bishop is going to pin.
Yeah, I'm glad you're worried about that, yes.
Yeah?
I'm glad. You know what I'm worried about?
What?
Vishy's not moving. No. That's what I'm worried about. It's 3:41. We saw the same thing. He had a 5-minute edge on the clock. It's the exact same replay from last game. He's just sitting there once again, clock unaware. That's not the body language of a man who realizes that he might lose on time again.
Whoa.
He has taken
moves.
on d5.
And he captured, by the way, a very, very quick response capture on c2 by Garry, and knight takes c2, attacking the queen once again. So this is what Vishy anticipated, was that he would be able to utilize the e-file. And after queen takes d5, unfortunately, the queen is hanging. We don't get it in, if we trade.
You're going to have to trade off?
Either knight captures is just fine. I don't see why Garry would be upset about this position. In fact, I think it's in his favor. Queen takes d5. Queen takes d5. Either knight capturing. I like knight on e7, by the way, best. But either knight capturing is fine. And
both are good options.
Done
We'll go for the one on the e-file, though, as you prefer.
And after all that tension,
a lot of major pieces are off the board.
After all that tension, we have an ending. But I will say, there is an isolated pawn in the middle of the board, but it also happens to be a passed pawn.
Isolated passed.
Okay, rook is going to come slide down to the 6th rank here.
You say tomato?
Exactly. You know, you got to be optimistic.
Right.
Bishops will leave the battlefield. We do have doubled pawns now here for Vishy with the white pieces.
Exactly. Potential passer on the so I've got this blockade, but I'm not really happy. I see this rook as being a good rook, so I'm thinking I got to make my rook good.
You got to do it quickly. 35 seconds on the clock here for Garry. So as much as we talk about the time trouble for Vishy and the fact that he just lost a game on time, Garry still has to be well aware of the time that he has left to work with. Up to 40 now with that 10 seconds.
And now Vishy said, I'm not going to lose again on time. For those of joining us late, we had a stunner of a game today. Vishy had a much, much better position, and he lost on time with a minute on his clock to just make any number of very, very good moves.
Well, now the rooks go.
And now knight g5. This is an unlosable position for white. Like, there's no way you should lose. Unlosable. Unlosable. I'm going to say. I don't know if that's a word, but this is. I'm going to say there's no way you lose this one.
You have not studied my games, clearly.
You say unlosable for, but is it losable for black? Is there...
And
I don't think black's losing this one either. This one is looking very drawn as pieces are being chopped off the board over time. And
that was good by Vichy to prevent the move knight f5 from coming, because knight f5 was going to fork the pawns. And remember when I said, you know, I've got black has the potential for a passer on the queen side? Garry said, don't forget about my potential.
Yeah.
All right, time to bring the king up.
Also a good time for us to remind viewers at home that there are no draw offers before the completion of black's 60th move.
Right.
And so while we are working with very little material still left on the board, 3 pawns apiece, 1 knight apiece, and the king, of course.
Sorry, I'm seeing a draw as an inevitability here. I'm expecting that 1 pawn is going to be traded on the queen side, and there's going to be a trade coming over on the king side as well. King c2. Okay, well, wait a minute. Garry's the one with the outside passer. He can use that as a decoy as he goes after the d4 pawn.
Body language says draw. You can see them both confident that this is going to lead nowhere. And so
that g6 knight is very strong.
Defending
his own pawn
F6.
and the d5 square as well.
Yes, that's right. King d5, knight f5, instantly by Vichy. King e6.
Back to e6.
I think this is a silent draw offer. Would you like to play knight g7 check, please?
Why not? Here we go.
King to d5.
You go back to d5, and they'll repeat
Knight
and
f5.
head off to the blitz game.
Okay.
Games.
I feel in some ways it was a very well-played game, but also missed opportunities for both players. Like, both players are going to be a little salty after this one.
And here we go as we see a repetition taking place.
Yep.
Up to Garry now.
Got to put the finishing touches on it for the draw.
Minute 20 seconds for Garry.
I mean, there is no way you... Oh, well, Garry is aware of the fact that he has an outside pass pawn.
Right.
Potential. So he could play a4, but he's decided no reason to, again, press my luck, and they've repeated, and the game has ended in a draw.
From an unloosable position.
Losable.
And it was not lost.
And
there it is, a draw to conclude our rapid portion of the day. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, this is such an interesting case.
No, but you have too much space after d5, e4.
Yeah, no, but g4...
Maybe a4 was not necessary.
Yeah, but it's interesting.
a4 is not necessary, said
e5, I think, only move.
Yeah, sure.
But I think at one point I was probably I could take on g4, but I just...
What?
e5
We didn't mind it, but we were wondering if it just was too slow or if it...
But I was already...
Garry says when he saw the move g4, I was already feeling depressed that he had lost the initiative. Maurice, jump in on that key moment when we saw the move queen g2 and we recoiled. We did not like
this moment right here, queen g2, slow, not quite as incisive as capturing on e4. And in this moment, Garry was the one who actually played less incisive chess. He played knight to e7, figuring he needed to develop this piece. But right here, right now, he had the opportunity to play the move king to a7, bring the final piece into the game, the rook that is into the game, and harmonize everything. Also getting out from under this pin in the position as well. This would have been a really nice way for him to play. Any trades, you can just capture back. You can develop if you want to. And in a position like this, we just bring our rook over. And you got to enjoy this if you are black. The great opportunity for Garry. He didn't find this way to play, and it turned out he ended up not quite getting enough, not winning the game. But I think he's satisfied. He's got a draw with the black pieces. He's got a 3-point lead in the match. What's not to like?
Yeah, no, he's sitting pretty.
Sitting pretty by all accounts, and I think, we'll maybe call into question for Vichy. Plans laid, but maybe not followed through at times, right?
With
We were talking
A4.
about, okay, you've got this long think from Garry. During that time, you should have your response ready. And we're still just waiting for that next gear to be found for Vishy in this one. But the good news is this is only the halfway point of our 3-day event. But we can take a look at the score lines to update you at home for how things stand. As Maurice had mentioned, it is a 3-point lead so far here for Garry Kasparov over Viswanathan Anand through 6 games. We'll turn our attention now to the Blitz games, though, to see if Vishy can start to grab back some of that space. You see there a 2 in that first column there on the left-hand side, and that's because on day 2, wins are worth 2 points, draws are worth 1 point, and of course losses are worth 0. That will be upped in the ante once again tomorrow with 3 points apiece per win and 1.5 for a draw. We're going to take a quick break, and as we go, we are lucky enough to be able to share some clips from the 1995 Intel World Chess Championship documentary, produced by 9-time Emmy Award-winning Cohen Media. For the entire documentary, you can find the full playlist on Robert Cohen's YouTube channel. Meanwhile, Anastasiya had a chance to sit down with Grandmaster Garry Kasparov. Let's take a look, and we'll be right back.
This move had never been seen before. Pawn to g5, and this really stunned Kasparov. And he gave a quick glance there at Kasparov as if to say, look at this tremendous move, and Kasparov was intrigued. Look at that face, as if to say, what's going on?
In fact, Anand was still playing these moves very quickly indeed, so an indication he's still in his home analysis.
It's incredible, whipping out all these moves with the two players, and that bishop laser-like on that diagonal, and the rook could go nowhere at all. So Anand had an advantage, but then Kasparov banged down the move, rook to c1, and he seemed quite pleased with himself, getting up, leaving the board, and leaving Anand to analyze this new situation. And then Anand played an absolutely spectacular move, castling right into the fire of White's pieces.
Garry, welcome to St. Louis, to the newly reopened chess club. What kind of memories do you have associated with the club? Do you have your first memories when you entered the club?
Look, I mean, that's not a fair question. You know, I'm not that young to recollect all my memories. You know, this is if you split my life in 2 parts, you know, this playing chess professional and being an amateur, so just, you know, or semi-professional at one point. So the second part is almost entirely connected to St. Louis. It's a kind of pilgrimage, you know. Every year I have to come here and to play chess. And I always have, you know, this is the kind of argument at home, you know, with Dasha. So she's thinking, when do you stop doing this? And look, I just, you know, I can't. I have fun.
And we're also happy about it, and all the chess fans around the world.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. So people are happy about it, and I have to give this, you know, this pleasure to people. That's, you know, and I come here every year. So yeah, not that I have huge expectations about this upcoming match. So I'm an underdog, so I don't suggest you bet on me in this match. I think it's against Vishy. Is definitely, you know, we're both of course out of our prime, but Vishy is still an active player. And I'm always rooting for him when he plays. You know, this is the games, you know, at some team championships, and he shows the class to these youngsters. So this is yes, and I think now he's definitely, you know, tons of preparation. So with his team, and I always just do some little work with Peter Swindler. So I just feel that it's some kind of a duty, you know, it's a sacred duty to come here to St. Louis. And now it's a new chess club, so it's actually an old new chess club, and and the club is getting bigger. And I'm always pleased to tell people being asked about St. Louis that this is the chess capital, not just of the United States, but for the world, and so many great ideas that just is being introduced, like Grand Chess Tour. It's everything was born here, and so that's why, you know, I can't say no to the invitation that comes every year to come to St. Louis and play a little bit of chess.
And we're also happy that you always take this invitation. But speaking about this match, you mentioned that Vichy probably was preparing a lot. I wonder how much chess actually occupies your daily life. Like how many games per day you play, or like per week? You just mentioned Peter's Fiddler, but do you have like a count on Chess.com or Chess? Like we're all wondering.
Yeah, of course I do play some chess, online. Yes, this is I just don't want people to get overexcited. So yeah, I do play, and the problem is, that's again I'm slow, and again there's some games that I just that's give me some pleasure. So but typically it's just not to forget how to move the pieces, and it's kind of also routine, but it's not serious. So this is it. I just did some work now. This is we played with this time control with Peter, so I just did a little bit of just more concentrated just on my account. So but the many things that just you lose. You lose your senses, so this is not the same with a finger. So this is, but one thing that makes me call it happy, or just it's why I'm always coming back again, despite my wife's strong objections. It's I know that if I have a good day, just a good moment, I can beat anybody. This because sometimes this great idea is coming. So this is we just played with Peter, and I just played some lousy games, and all of a sudden, boom! You said, "Wow, you were in a good shape today." So that's I'm still waiting for this moment. Whether I will have this moment in the match, I don't know. But again, you never know. So if he looks the other side, he could be in trouble.
Absolutely. We should also send regards to Peter, I guess. And my question is now that we have this match, give me a few reasons why chess fans should follow this match.
Well, 960 chess is probably the future. I mean, for me, definitely it's the only form of chess I can play, because you don't have to prepare, and it's always entertaining. It's more we play, and I played a lot of games. So this is since my first match was Topolov many years ago. I forgot when it was 2018, yes, I think. And then I played this Caruana just before COVID, and then we had this online. And this is certain things you start recognize. So this is again some patterns, very loose patterns, can be understood, and it gives me pleasure, because you start thinking, and this is and it's always a new day.
Thank you so much, Garry, for this interview, and I wish you all the best of luck in this match.
Oh yeah, I will need a lot of luck in this match if I am to survive.
Two legendary world champions, Garry Kasparov and Viswanathan Anand, will do battle once again in Clutch Chess, The Legends, a special exhibition match celebrating their incredible legacies. Kasparov, a chess icon who held the title for 15 consecutive years, and Anand, a 5-time world champion, will compete in an epic Chess 960 match with $144,000 in prizes on the line. Catch this unique moment in chess history live from the new state-of-the-art facility at the St. Louis Chess Club. It's an unforgettable event you won't want to miss.
America's top chess players are set to compete in the most prestigious national championship in the world, the 2025 U.S. Chess Championship and the 2025 U.S. Women's Chess Championship, hosted by the newly expanded St. Louis Chess Club. Defending champions Fabiano Caruana and Carissa Yip will lead an illustrious field from October 12th through 25th, with a total prize fund of more than $400,000 on the line. Don't miss chess history in the making.
Clutch Chess Champion Showdown is here, and 4 superstars take the stage. World number 1, Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru Nakamura, Fabiano Caruana, and reigning world champion Gukesh Damaraju. With more than $400,000 on the line, daily win bonuses, escalating point values, and the one-of-a-kind Champions Jackpot, every game could change everything. It all unfolds October 27th through 29th, live from the brand new playing halls of the St. Louis Chess Club. Don't miss a moment of chess history in the making.
By now, you guys probably know there's a lot to see and do in St. Louis. But when it comes to the art scene, there's more here than meets the eye. From Laumeier Sculpture Park and the City Garden to the stunning Cathedral Basilica, one of the largest mosaic collections in the entire world. So if art is your thing, St. Louis is on display all year long. Ooh, now that's an exhibit. St. Lou is always exploring.
Hi, my name is Brian Woods. I am the music director for classical programming at the World Chess Hall of Fame in Galleries. It is a monthly series that we put on featuring performers from the St. Louis Symphony, from Opera Theater St. Louis, Winter Opera, and some of the finest freelancers we have here in the St. Louis area. Every live performance is completely different. So when you come to a concert here at the World Chess Hall of Fame, you can expect infinite possibilities all within this rubric of music.
We're the Manos! Welcome to our show! Go, go, go! That's our show! Now go plan yours at visitmo.com!
When you visit St. Louis, you'll probably want to watch the Cardinals or the Blues. But what about after the game? Heading back to the hotel would be a major error. Instead, boogie through the city and discover the music that gave the Blues their name at the National Blues Museum, Broadway Oyster Bar, or even the legendary Blueberry Hill. So whether you love the Cardinals, the Blues, or the Blues, come play with us. Hey, you guys know I can't play this, right? St. Lou is always exploring.
Hey.
Welcome back, everyone, to the St. Louis Chess Club, where we are just crossing the halfway point of the day here for Clutch Chess, the legends between Viswanathan and Garry Kasparov. Garry still holding a solid advantage in the overall score lines, but we move into blitz from here, and there's still plenty of runway for both of our players to make up this 3-point advantage that Garry currently sits with. Also, $3,000 worth of bonus money sitting currently in his pocket. But as we know, because the most recent result was a draw, that bonus money that was up for grabs in that second game of the day is now getting shifted all the way over till tomorrow in our final two games. Games 11 and 12 each get $1,000 added into the pot.
Nice.
Woo-hoo-hoo! That's big money matches right there coming tomorrow at the end of the day.
I used to play for 2 bits a game. 2 bits a game, blitz chess.
Oh, how far we have come in the chess world.
Haven't we?
Couldn't be happier. Couldn't be happier to see it. And I also couldn't be happier to be sending you guys to a quick interview with Anastasiya, who's standing by with Fabiano to get his experience on what it's been like to be Garry Kasparov's second for this event.
Fabi, you were analyzing with Garry before the game starting yesterday and today. How does it feel to analyze with him before the matches?
Actually, I think we never analyzed together because we played a lot of these events, but usually I would be with Levon, and he would be with very often with Hikaru.
Or Peter.
Or Peter, yeah, very often with Peter as well. So we never really analyzed together, but we played quite a lot. So it's, I think, one of the first times that we've been doing this. Yesterday, I think it was although we didn't make all the right conclusions, it was still kind of successful because in the first game, he got a good position with black early. Only last game was very bad for him from the opening, but this was already far from anything that we were looking at. But overall, he did very, very well. I think, +1 against Vichy, very, very good result, especially saving the last game.
Yeah, this was amazing, yeah?
Yeah, just losing a piece out of the opening, but still it wasn't super easy. And Vichy didn't find the best way, so I'm sure that he's quite pleased with the first day.
Yeah, this match, it's such an important match for all the chess fans. What do you think it means for world community and St. Louis Chess Club as well?
Well, I think it's really great to see the two legends back at the board. Of course, we still do see them sometimes. Garry, although he retired 20 years ago, he still plays, and sometimes successfully. I've had the privilege to play him on many occasions throughout the years here, and also because the club is just finished after years of hard work. The club is finished with renovations and expansion. It's a really good event to kickstart this new chess club.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you looking forward to see today's games and tomorrow's? What are your predictions?
Well, despite helping Garry, I also predicted that Vichy would win. But I have to say, after yesterday, I think I could shift my prediction. I think it will definitely be a close match, but I I felt like in time trouble phase, Garry was actually outperforming Vichy. And that's going to be very important because they're going to get to time trouble quite often. Of course, maybe Vichy was a bit rusty and will, well, I think probably both of them will be in a bit better shape today. But certainly Garry is not going to prove an easy opponent for Vichy.
Yeah, let's see what will happen. Thank you so much for your comments, Abby.
What do you bring to the table, James?
A smooth transition. I mean, but how about that? Predicting Vichy, of all things, to take the event, and yet he's the one who has to be in Garry's corner. You know, if anything, it's a solid hedging of bets. He wins either way. Either I predicted it right or I helped the guy to victory.
That's not good.
That was funny. That was just funny.
Come on, man. You're helping me. You're helping me out. You're like, but you know you're going to lose.
You're gonna, it's bad. It's bad.
By the way, I had a trivia question for you guys.
Okay.
What's that? The coordinates on Fabi's hoodie?
Is it not the St. Louis Chess Club?
No,
oh,
it's
okay.
Stockholm.
It's Stockholm.
Yeah, I actually asked him.
You asked? Oh, you cheater! You shouldn't have told us that.
Right.
Oh my goodness! The amount of confidence that you came at that answer with.
Right, you just snapped it right
up.
out.
About to ask what you're doing in your spare time, just looking up coordinates to major cities. There you have it, y'all.
My nautical skills are off the map.
Incredible. Well, mine are too because I just Googled it.
Right.
Too funny. Too funny. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you know where to find him if he ever gets lost, or where to send him back to.
Exactly.
Right, here you go. Just plug the coordinates in.
We had 2 rapid games under our belt. We're about to see 2 blitz games. What are your takeaway? One guy played E4, one guy played D4. Who got the advantage as white in those games, Maurice?
Neither side. It's all about the clock, baby. It's all about the clock. Come on. Now we're going to see, for real, the form that both sides are in. Garry seems extremely confident when it comes to managing the clock. We've seen that every single time. It's Vichy who has not yet just clicked into that new gear. Instead, he's slow playing. He's not showing confidence. He's trading down. It's almost like he just wants to get this part of it over with and really focus on day 3. But there's 2 games and 4 big points left up for grabs.
Absolutely.
So win one of these, Vichy. Make sure it's a close match.
Yeah, for me, it's pace of play. That's the takeaway. And still searching for the Viswanathan Anand that I was promised, right? In the sense of how he approaches a game stylistically and where his success is born out of.
Yeah, his speed of play.
We were close to it in that last game. Almost played both sides.
Who promised you that?
You did.
It was me.
Well, I don't know if it was a promise, but that's the player you told me to look for if we're going to see Vichy in his top form.
It's my fault.
And we haven't yet seen it.
And now we do have English, C2, C4 on the board. And maybe we'll see some kind of a transposition, D4, D5, E2, E3. Remember Garry going for that very aggressive knight D7, E5, as they did in the rapid. C7, C6.
Why is Garry spotting this guy time, no matter what the time control?
Oh, I didn't like this move, D2, D4. I thought that was very, very timid. I really much preferred the move E2, E4 instead. And what was the idea? The idea was to play knight to E3 and to control the D5 square. After D4, D5, I think this is a kind of an easy game for black, especially Garry is playing a very sedate.
This is a reminder of the first
game?
game?
Yeah, with E6, the pawns the E pawns got traded, now the C pawns got traded. Again, Garry is not playing that move bishop A5. I've been pounding the table on a couple of occasions to try to get that, to provoke the move B6. Sorry.
Well, here we are with Vichy. He is stopping to think about this last move, and it doesn't feel like a blitz game yet.
Not yet.
The way they're playing, a bit slowly.
Slow. Yeah.
They need to figure out how to harmonize the pieces in this new structure that they haven't seen as yet. Usually we have played thousands of games of chess and blitz that the first 10 moves just come off your fingertips, no problem.
Right.
Yeah.
But here, a little bit of time spent.
You see right above our heads right here. It's 5-3. We went from 25-10 down to 5-3. Talk to me about that switch up mid-tournament. You know, how conscious of a decision is it, or that you have to make here to really increase your speed?
I think it's one of the most difficult transitions you have to make. You go from a format, rapid chess, 25 minutes plus 5, you kind of lulled yourself into this false sense of, I've got a lot of time. Suddenly, you got 5 minutes. You got to snap yourself to attention.
I would say the only time you see this traditionally happen is on a same-day tiebreak, and sometimes in a tournament where it's a rapid tournament where something was tied and you have to create a winner,
right.
Or even a blitz tournament or even a classical tournament. For example, like Norway chess, where Norway chess has come off a classical game and then you have to change in that Armageddon game. And so you see it similar circumstances. You just have to figure out how to adjust quickly because your whole body clock is going one way, body and mental clock, and now it has to go another. We see here, this position, they're sort of warming into this Slav-ish structure.
It sure looks like a Slav,
exchange Slav structure. And Garry is not far behind on the clock, but Vishy has a little bit of a lead.
I'm surprised by the move knight d2. Garry, it's clear that he's making knight c5 his home, if you will. I'm just not sure that the knight really belongs on that square c5. I really thought that knight g3, queen e1 was going to occur.
Oh,
Vishy is getting ready to castle queenside now.
Now I'm wholly reacting to the evaluation bar, which is now creeping up above that 5 and 6th rank, right there. Looks like
suddenly we can castle kingside, and the idea is Black's king is going to be stuck on the queen side, and maybe when White castles his king is going to be super safe
with the queen on h1.
Well, you got an h3, queen h2. It'll peak
or h4 or h4 h5, which looks more attractive. No, that's going to be amazing if the king cannot castle the black king. That's going to be problematic for Anand for sure.
Yeah, castle's right here, right now, and make that move quickly. Garry could be thinking about h4.
Probably is.
He's got to be
and
considering
queen h2.
But this is a massive moment, and again, a massive time to think. So maybe recognizing rather the critical nature of the position, but 2:40 on the clock, almost down to half of his starting bank. You can't spend too much time.
I've got to say, it's actually quite surprising that he hasn't castled already.
Agreed.
Because castles, it's such a natural move. Yep. It's clear that his opponent cannot go kingside with him. He's going to have a ready-made open c-file. Castles is... I mean, what else, actually, would you be thinking about, other than h4? h4 captures my attention as well.
a3, b4.
How many top players I've spoken to who have forgotten that castling is even an option in chess 960 at a certain point.
I'm going to assume that that's what's happened here.
You're looking at the position, it feels like that's already happened.
And he did the two-handed castles again.
But he did grab his king first.
Yes. And he did not forget. He did not forget. I was mistaken. He realized he could. And now Vishy has castled
as well.
But when you look at it, you see the difference. I mean, after h4, the queen will be able to go to the h2 square, after a rook to c1, and there's h4 on the board. And man, you've got to like White all day.
Big time, big time. f7, f6. Vishy understands that the queen is coming to h2, the knight was coming to e5. He's trying to stop
on the board.
These very rapid moves. Rook c1 followed by b4 is just begging to be played.
This is Garry Kasparov in his element right now. This is Garry, just attack. And king b8 running out of there, trying to get out of the center.
This is an attacker's dream.
But this is just an auto attack.
Absolutely.
14 moves in. 14 moves in. The only thing that looks weird here is the queen on h2, and it doesn't look weird at all.
Yeah. But let's go. Let's just...
Start sending the pawns?
Oh, whoa. Garry tricked us.
Not the pawn I thought.
I thought his focus was going to be on the queen side with a3, b4. Vishy said, look, I see you. I got to get off this diagonal. And look at this. Garry got in a very nice bump in the bump. He's doing everything with tempo. This is he's
clamping down right now.
Look like he's increased. Oh, no! That blunders.
He blundered.
That blunders. Oh,
Rook
blunder.
C7. Vishy, what just happened? As you can see, the rook hanging on C7, and Garry has won again.
And the clock times again. Gary's rewarded. Every time he gets into trouble on the clock, he gets rewarded with a mistake.
But the clock time, just like you said, that take a breath. I know we've been talking about moving fast, too, and making sure you're keeping up the pace. But you can't get ahead of yourself and let something slip like that, because that's another 2 points that goes the way of Garry Kasparov. And now we're starting to talk about a lead that's looking insurmountable. Not mathematically.
Oh, no.
But it's starting to get to that point where it's just
really
looking bad. And here we'll see it all play out.
Let's replay that last mistake.
But clearly, the threat of knight C5 is certainly one you have
palpable.
to...
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do, in fact? It's just
Probably
terrible
play
looking
B6.
position. Probably play B6 and stop it. And yes, you're right. Instead, just dropping now
and
with the rook
Vishy saw it instantly.
Immediate.
Yeah. But isn't that the craziest thing that happens to every player? You sit there and you think, and you go, I'm going to play this move. You've just released the piece and you're pressing the clock, and you go...
And then you see the...
Oh, that is a terrible mistake.
That's every other move for me.
Well, you're a long line of players.
It's nice to see even the legends be mortals at times.
Look how much time he has on his clock.
3 minutes.
That's what I'm
134.
saying. Take that breath.
This is crazy.
Take that breath.
Did not have to rush. And Garry just said, I'll take that. And that
double
queen,
attack.
You know, but here's something very important. I know that it's a clear blunder.
Of
yes,
course,
we
clear.
admit.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, and I know you know this experience 100% because we played so many games. I was explaining this idea. A lot of times, you don't actually see the pieces on the board. You see them in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Queens don't belong on H2.
No, that's true.
They just don't.
Yeah.
So a queen on H2, you're thinking...
The queen's on D2.
It's over somewhere else.
Right. C2.
So you make a move, and then suddenly you go, wait a minute, your queen's over there. You don't actually see the pieces. They're in your head. You're making them on the board, but you see them in your head. And that queen does not belong on H2 in this chess position in normal chess. But, of course, it's 960. You've got to make the adjustment of actually focusing on the individual squares. That pattern recognition can come sometimes to bite us on the behind.
Yeah.
And that it did in this game.
It's the beauty of chess 960. It distorts the entire landscape of the battlefield, right? And it's going to put even the best to the test. And in this moment, the best have been tested, but one has come out on top along the way. We will get that corrected because it isn't 2 points over there for Viswanathan Anand in blitz number 1. It's a decisive advantage here for Garry Kasparov, getting 2 points for himself and
the $2,000
another $2,000 bonus money.
Should be up to $5,000 on that graphic.
Right.
You know what? Now that you just said that, I realized something. Vishy said, I have not played chess 960 for almost 20 years.
That's true.
And I think we're seeing that right now.
Yeah.
I think that's what's happening. The tactical awareness, the feel.
He's not sharp.
It's not only that he's uncomfortable. He's just uncomfortable, even with good positions. But the piece configurations, Garry has played this multiple times, multiple games against the world's elite.
Yeah. I have to imagine it's such a strange position where you can't rely on your normal instincts.
No.
Right?
Because the positions are unique.
And so you've spent 55 years of life
looking at the wrong position.
Skills that in many ways don't, perfectly apply to this situation. And so again, that just puts the onus on taking that breath in the moment. Yes, there was the switch up in pace, but you had twice the amount of time. And if you take just that extra breath, maybe you can find your way out of it. It was already a scary situation, as we mentioned, but all that said, Vishy falls down. He does have one opportunity to strike back here, though, on the white side of the board with one more blitz game to go.
Right.
Question is, can he do it? Can he shake off what has been kind of a stumble here from the end of yesterday into the beginnings of today?
Well, it's the trend. You were mentioning the 2 games of yesterday, the last 2 games of yesterday. That changed everything, games 3 and 4. Vishy was a piece up, didn't win. And the games here. So he's been on a bad streak of the last 5 games,
Indeed.
I want to say.
But here's where we hope the concept of clutch chess comes to help him. Because the idea, if right now, if it was just a regular match, he's down three games.
Trouble, big time.
I mean, we're just like, dude, you're going to get killed.
Right.
Right? This is where you start saying, let me just draw the rest.
Right, and cruise to victory.
Put him in a headlock and cruise to victory. But because 2 wins tomorrow
are worth 6 points.
6 points.
6 points actually overtakes Garry.
Right.
Then Vishy can say, okay, I've shaken off the rust from day 1. Let me get it out of my system. And day 2 as well, I got a chance on day 3.
Yeah. Right. Normal tournament, you're done and dusted right now.
Right.
It's a 5-point differential with only 5 games to go.
Yeah,
1 more and 4 more tomorrow. If it was only 1 point apiece, but like you say, we can still claw it all the way back, and we can even do it with only 2 wins tomorrow.
Actually, if it was 1 point apiece, it would be plus 3. It would be the 3 wins, right? So it would be plus 3. But even that, I mean, Yas. You lost 3 games out of 7.
Not
Come on,
feeling
man.
good.
You're feeling like you're getting pounded. You're not going to beat the same guy 3 games to even tie up the match.
Right.
But if you could beat him 2 and take the lead, I'm still breathing.
Yeah, right.
If he can win this game especially, it's anybody's match.
Yeah. And I was just thinking why the move E3, E4 surprised me so much, because I was thinking A3 and B4 just really plays itself. I was thinking that the move E4 allowed Vishy to get back into the game with bishop to G6 pinning, and then getting out of the pin, King A8. When Vishy played the move King A8, he already just felt something was way off in his game, way off. And this was terrible.
Yeah,
Rook
Rook
C7 was just terrible. Yeah, that's not Viswanathan Anand. Yeah, but now.
Here you go. This is the actual picture of the scoreline right now. 7.5 points over here to Garry Kasparov to the 2.5 for Viswanathan Anand. $5,000 in bonus money already in Kasparov's pocket. And, of course, he's chasing down that $70,000 winner's purse right now. $50,000 to the runner-up, and still plenty more bonus money in play. And we'll conclude day 2 with one more game, one more Blitz game, that is, to come very shortly. And we'll conclude the event tomorrow, Friday the 10th, with games 9 through 12. 2 Rapids followed by 2 Blitz games to conclude it all. 11:40 a.m. Central Time, so make sure you don't miss it, because, like we said, this format supports the comeback. I think there's going to be a lot of people out there, chess fans in general, just hoping for a little bit of a strike back here at this point.
Me too.
And then we want to see the runners coming down the home stretch together, right? Neck and neck. Photo finish, if you will.
Agreed. And that's the thing about clutch chess. I mean, as badly as Vishy feels about his play right now, he is by no means out of it. And just a result or 2, and the shoe could be on the other foot.
The other thing is the asymmetric scoring. If you look at it, you got 1 on day 1, plus 1. You got 4 points, right, for your 2 victories on day 2. So you're at plus 5.
Right.
Usually you watch a thing like football.
Yeah.
American football I'm talking about.
3 touchdown
If you score a touchdown and somebody else, how do I catch up? Right. I score a touchdown.
Right.
You got 7, I got 7, right? I score a touchdown. Right. This says, how do I catch up? Well, there's no number that you can make. I mean, you're at 5 points up. There's no number that makes the score equal.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out, is there any math?
No, not at this point.
Not at
we
this
have an
point.
odd number of games remaining.
Right? We got an odd number of games. So if you win, you go, well, actually, yes, it is possible. If you get 2 right now, you cut it to 3, and then you win the next game. Then you can tie. So that's a scenario. But otherwise, that asymmetry, if he doesn't win now, then just forget it. There'll be a plus 7, and you're not balancing. There's no tie. We know there will be no tie to the match if Garry wins this next game.
Or draws.
Or draws. Or draws. You're right. Or a draw. So Vishy, in order to tie the match, will have to win now. But if he doesn't, then we know there will be a decisive result this early on, which normally you would never see in a traditional scoring system.
Well, things are getting tricky here in St. Louis. It was a pretty surprising game number 3, ended in spectacular fashion. We got one more coming your way. We'll be back in just about 3 minutes to get you into that Blitz action. See you here.
Two legendary world champions, Garry Kasparov and Viswanathan Anand, will do battle once again in Clutch Chess, The Legends, a special exhibition match celebrating their incredible legacies. Kasparov, a chess icon who held the title for 15 consecutive years, and Anand, a 5-time world champion, will compete in an epic Chess 960 match with $144,000 in prizes on the line. Catch this unique moment in chess history live from the new state-of-the-art facility at the St. Louis Chess Club. It's an unforgettable event you won't want to miss.
America's top chess players are set to compete in the most prestigious national championship in the world, the 2025 U.S. Chess Championship and the 2025 U.S. Women's Chess Championship, hosted by the newly expanded St. Louis Chess Club. Defending champions Fabiano Caruana and Carissa Yip will lead an illustrious field from October 12th through 25th, with a total prize fund of more than $400,000 on the line. Don't miss chess history in the making.
Clutch Chess Champion Showdown is here, and 4 superstars take the stage. World number 1, Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru Nakamura, Fabiano Caruana, and reigning world champion Gukesh Damaraju. With more than $400,000 on the line, daily win bonuses, escalating point values, and the one-of-a-kind Champions Jackpot, every game could change everything. It all unfolds October 27th through 29th, live from the brand new playing halls of the St. Louis Chess Club. Don't miss a moment of chess history in the making.
By now, you guys probably know there's a lot to see and do in St. Louis. But when it comes to the art scene, there's more here than meets the eye. From Laumeier Sculpture Park and the City Garden to the stunning Cathedral Basilica, one of the largest mosaic collections in the entire world. So if art is your thing, St. Louis is on display all year long. Ooh, now that's an exhibit. St. Lou is always exploring.
Hi, my name is Brian Woods. I am the music director for classical programming at the World Chess Hall of Fame in Galleries. It is a monthly series that we put on featuring performers from the St. Louis Symphony, from Opera Theater St. Louis, Winter Opera, and some of the finest freelancers we have here in the St. Louis area. Every live performance is completely different. So when you come to a concert here at the World Chess Hall of Fame, you can expect infinite possibilities all within this rubric of music.
We're the Manos! Welcome to our show! Go, go, go! That's our show! Now go play yours at visitmo.com!
Welcome back, everyone, to day 2 of Clutch Chess, The Legends. Garry Kasparov and Viswanathan Anand doing battle here in St. Louis. Now, things are looking pretty dire for Vishy Anand coming out of that first Blitz game of the day as he fell down yet another 2 points to Garry Kasparov. So there's the overall score line, 7.5 to 2.5, and $5,000 already in Kasparov's pocket due to the bonus system. But with this 4th and final game of the day, Vishy can get 2 points back in his corner, close that lead back down to 3, and then he's within only 1 game striking distance tomorrow, as each victory will become worth 3 points.
I feel Vishy has to strike back, and not only strike back, but in a sense recover himself, because he's played poorly these last 5 games, Maurice.
Poorly.
Poorly, thank you.
Your vocabulary already. I know you're an amazing writer. You're quite loquacious. I know that you have more colorful than poorly. Let's get to the source because poorly. and by the way, there's some people who have much more colorful language to describe how he's played so far. Yeah, genteel. And we get a cup of tea, please. Tea.
The point's well taken, though. I think even to a degree, less so for the scoreline, because just before the break, we talked about how mathematically it could all be made up tomorrow in terms of points. But if anything, for him, his own mentality and his own style of play, right? You just have to prove to yourself again that you can compete. There's an element of that here in this 4th game. Prove to yourself you can play. That way you come in tomorrow a little bit more with a table reset, and now you're within striking distance.
By the way, speaking of which, he's only 2 games down on the 3-point scoring system.
Exactly.
And they're about to start. Tomorrow's games 11 and 12. could be the biggest clutch games with all that money on the line and all those points for the title. Maybe he's just waiting to surprise us all. We don't want to see that. We want to see him come back right now, get 2 points.
Yeah, don't wait
and
for
keep it a
tomorrow
match.
to surprise us. Surprise us right here and right now. Off we go into the fourth and final game of the day. It is 5-3 in terms of the time controls. Blitz, and immediately it's a D4, D5.
He's back
Symmetry
to that E3
so far.
move.
Back to E3, and again, if we see C6, if he doesn't play Bishop A5, I'll hurt myself.
Don't do that,
C2, C4.
Don't do that. And now, I think, did Garry think maybe he wouldn't play like this again because this didn't seem to work out very well for him?
It didn't.
But here we see Garry give pause and not repeat his opening line as he got into some difficulty in his game. In the game, that's game 2.
Yeah, it's kind of strange because they've got the 3 games under their belt. They've actually reached these types of positions. You'd kind of think Garry would be acquainted, aware what he wants to do. Let's go, Garry. Knight G6, C5, let's go.
Not just these types of positions, this exact position he has seen before. And now deciding to opt for something different, apparently, because he wasn't thrilled by the first game.
All right, you haven't made a move yet.
Last, and there it is, Bishop B5. Okay, that does put the kibosh on any C4 ideas. And maybe you've got this irritating little idea, Bishop E2, preventing you from castling kingside.
The engine hates the move.
Knight E5.
Yeah, the engine thoroughly hates.
You know what's interesting is the engine still wanted C4.
With the same idea of playing Knight E5. So there is A4 as a possibility, as well as C4. So the idea behind C4 in this particular case is you capture on C4, and then the knight comes to D2, and the recapture is inevitable. No.
Here we go.
A4. Okay. Kind of an invitation for B4?
Yeah, seriously. Come trap my bishop.
Wow, this position looks very nice for white as you look at it. Somehow, black's pieces, especially the queen on G8, that bishop on A6 looks a little bit odd. An F4 by Vichy, saying, I might play F5 at some point, but also putting a clamp, controlling that knight on E5. If you ever take it, he's got 2 babies who can capture there, particularly the F-pawn.
I like this move. The old Philidor attack. Oh, pardon me, not Philidor.
Pillsbury attack,
apologies.
yes. Well, this is definitely looking nice for Vichy, to be sure. And now B4 on the board. Hello. What a move. The engine does not like the move at all because of this move C6. And given an exclamation mark, Vichy's completely oblivious to that. However, he plays C3. And I'm going to say, this is Blitz. You could take those evals and
forget about it.
Throw them out the window.
I like the move B4. I liked it before. I like it still. I mean, if it's my turn, I want to play B5. You capture with the pawn. I play bishop D3. Please do me a solid. Capture on A4. Let me play bishop takes A6. We're cooking. So I see the move B4, B5 as a threat that Garry's got to deal with. And by the way, that move slowed Garry down, C2, C3. He realizes there's potential danger.
Well, so first real think of the game here. Just about to approach that 3-minute mark.
Should he play knight takes E5 and knight G4?
I see you're quickly trying to figure out material things there.
I'm trying to win a pawn. I don't know about you, but I know what I want to do. I want to win a pawn.
Knight to E8. Looking to eject the knight from the E5 square with a very solid move, F6.
Sorry, can I just ask you a question? B5. You have to take bishop D3. You going to play knight D6 on me? Okay. I'll double up on you. I'll raise the stakes.
Super excited about this particular
I'll raise the stakes
of playing. I'd be scared.
I would be scared.
I'd be scared.
I think this is an opportunity for Vichy.
B5.
And it's not like you have a choice. You've got to. Your bishop is trapped.
Definitely have to take that.
And he goes a different way.
No.
He's just solidly played bishop d2 as though he's preparing to castle. After bishop to d3, he's going to be able to, well, b5 and no, that doesn't add up. No,
he wants to castle. That
someday.
was that was the preparation move. By the way, maybe you want to play oh, that was a good move by Garry.
F5, best move.
I was just about to play e4 and maybe open things up. That shuts it down. But again, am I barking up the wrong tree here? b5 takes bishop d3. By the way, I'm prepping castles.
What about knight c7 instead of
fair?
That way I can guard the bishop.
Fair, exactly. And so in this particular iteration, you get to recapture with the knight.
With the knight, exactly.
And then I'm a pawn down at the end of the whole variation, right? You could go back potentially.
Okay, bishop played
return to live board. You'll see bishop c2 followed by knight jumping out to d6 here.
And now rook b1. Fischer's playing this all slow play. And now Garry has placed his bishop on c4, avoiding the entire strategic conception of that bishop being smothered on the a6 square.
Trapped, if you will.
And it looks like Fischer has gotten a position that he's not thrilled by. No. He will not be thrilled by because his whole point of his play is simply evaporated.
It's no good.
It's just been defanged.
Moments ago, we were talking about...
Look at that nice knight
the pleasant
on
position
c4.
for white.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a nice knight for it. And by the way, he did do that whole capturing routine, and he did put the knight on c4. That's like
a monster.
It's a beautiful knight.
This bishop on d2, by the way, you've got to go queen h1 to e2 before you even think about castles. You've got to support the bishop on d2.
My own bishop's locked behind my pawns.
And I see easy play now for Garry. He's going to play queen f7 and castle short. Then bring his bishop to c7 to d8. These are easy moves for Garry.
No, that knight, the difference between the bishops and that knight on c4 is just, the minors are night and day.
Right.
By the way, this is Garry Kasparov being as ambitious as you could possibly be. He gained more space and provoked the move a5, shutting it down. Queen f7, castle's short, and Garry's in his element still.
But it's a tremendously locked position. King's going to slide up here to b7.
Garry is saying, I like my king on the queen side. I don't know about you, but I'm going to play g5 and f4.
100%. I'm not surprised by this play at all. Nimzo Indian style player that, you see this with Fischer's player like this. Even Petrosian, who beat Garry this amazing game by putting his king right in front of pieces fearlessly.
Unforgettable.
But you look at this one, if pawn's in the way, there is no attack whatsoever on Black's king. Just exactly zero. That knight h5, by the way, that knight may one day end up on c5. F4, D3 kind of action.
Look at the reroute of this dark square
and it looks like it's happening. Heading to D3 and then to C5, but Garry's already anticipated this idea.
Exactly. I was thinking I was going to encourage the knight to move, actually. I was going to play the move G5. Yeah, you can go ahead and put your knight on D3, but then bishop E7. So I'm expecting G5 by Garry Kasparov.
And it has been played.
Every pawn's still on the board, though.
We call this a blocked position.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you chart a pathway forward in this situation? Obviously, it's Black with more of the initiative in an attack.
But the position is pretty stuck at the moment. There is one break, F5, F4, that you can. I'll put the pawn on H4 as preparation for the break.
Garry is seeing it all. Garry is coming after his opponent, bishop c1, trying to play defense so this bishop doesn't get snapped off and guarding the f4 square. But it is Garry Kasparov we're talking about. He's in his attacking element.
He is. But here's the thing. How are you going to break through? I'm going to play rook to g1 and rook on f2 to f1, or Vichy's just waiting. I want to make sure that I'm going to meet, okay, Vishy's basically saying, I want to make sure that I don't let you open the position with G4, G3 takes H2.
And final preparation
He's
with
waiting.
the move, and Garry's bringing his, what's this? Why is this king coming back over here?
To the center?
Yeah.
It kind of looks safe as could be on maybe Garry's.
But just why? Is he trying to gain time on the clock, or what is it? By the way, we didn't talk about the clock yet.
You're right. It's
What is the
3
clock?
seconds to 2 minutes.
We haven't
on the
mentioned
other
it.
side. So Gary's definitely disadvantaged when it comes to the clock. But Vishy
Okay.
right now has no options.
None. There's nothing to do.
There's nothing to move in the position.
I would be playing Rook F2, trade queens.
What do you do now? He's just going to keep going back and forth.
Vishy would be thrilled.
He's made the same move.
Yes. This is
6 times in a row already.
this
Now
is-
the queens come off the board.
massive benefit for Vishy.
Definitely. And by the way, next moves are King G1, King H1. And I'm saying as soon as you play G4, G3, I'm locking it up. Whichever way
there
you
it
go.
is.
If you go
G4.
G3, I'm going to play H3. If you go H3, I'm going to play G3.
Just no way to break through.
Looks like a draw.
And now Garry is shaking his head.
Wow.
But I think the time influenced him in this game because he didn't bother looking for any sophisticated attacks, with the time being a factor. And Vishy saying, you got nothing.
Here
and
we go.
both
There it
happy to
is.
draw.
And at some point, you
I
needed
think-
that break. You didn't find it. There was no pathway forward. The handshake's extended. It will be a draw to conclude our 4th game of the day. Viswanathan Anand coming away with 1 point to Gary's 1 point in this one, keeping that gap within distance.
C3 bishop b5, right? No, but, yeah, but if you play knight f3 bishop b5, c4 hits them. Yes. C4 is a total collapse. And just I always made a mistake. C4 and e4 bishop c3. But I'm not sure. But I think I had much better than I just already have. But it's hard to do.
Gary's saying it was hard for him to break through, that he had a much better position. I don't think he had a much better position, but he clearly outplayed Vishy from the opening in that game. Maurice.
Clearly, and I think right now, from what I could tell, Vishy was pretty perturbed by how he played today. And if he's making the mistakes he's making, it's one of those, I'm off today.
Right.
Let's just see, we just get out of here. A draw is a good idea. And it looked like Garry was satisfied. I got a nice little lead. Tomorrow, if he wins one game, it's pretty much over. You're not beating him 3 out of the other 4.
Unlikely.
But it's still a dangerous moment for him, because if Vishy wins one game, it's all to play for with only 2 points separating them, because it's only a 5-point lead right now with 3 points every single game tomorrow.
Yeah. But it was the 2 howlers today that really is the headline. The howler number 1 was this position in the rapid chess. Vishy is doing great. No, I mean really, really, really great. It's Vishy to play. He's got a dominant knight in the middle of the board. And after you see the move Queen C7, you cannot unsee this move. You're not only threatening the pawn on H2, but you're threatening Queen F4, Queen E5. The engine is screaming. Massive advantage, black.
Loving this position for black.
Vishy loses on time. You just don't see that.
And not in the way that you would expect to lose on time, right?
He started with a minute.
Yeah, with, in motion, reaching for the piece.
Right.
It was a full 60 seconds.
Countdown.
Of stunning, silence and lack of motion.
And unawareness. Clock on awareness.
Speaks to what you're talking about, though. Maybe you're happy then to get away with the draw here in the 4th game of the day. Keep the entire overall scoreline within striking distance. A point apiece here in Blitz game number 2 means 8.5 to 3.5 is our overall scoreline between Garry Kasparov and Viswanathan Anand. Heading into day 3 of Clutch Chess, the Legends.
But the draw pushed some money over.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Well, pretty soon we'll get to take a look at how all that's shaping up. We won't get ahead of ourselves. I think we got to wait for the tickers to actually go. But we'll dive in and we'll see how games 11 and 12 are starting to shake out. Because, it's big money and big points on the line when you come down the stretch. But a reminder that games 11 and 12 are both blitz games.
Exactly.
Right? And I think that's where I'm starting to have concerns, again, with Vishy's form right now.
Right.
Playing into blitz game, where it seems that Garry has played better in faster time controls. Let's go straight, though, to Anastasiya, who's standing by with Vishy Anand.
Thank you, Dash. Yes, you are right. I'm here with Vishy Anand. The second day is over. Vishy, how was this day for you? Please share with us your feelings, and thank you for actually coming after this tough day.
So the first game, I mean, I saw at one point I had 1 minute, 26 seconds, and then I don't know, I should have looked at the clock again. I just completely forgot. And I was so absorbed in this. I mean, I couldn't believe that he went for this F4, F5 because he's clearly worse after that. I went knight E4, and I was deliberating between E7 and C7, and I just lost. And then when the arbiter came, that was the biggest shock. The third game, full credit to him, because he spotted castle shot. We had been trying to castle long for a while, both of us. I mean, do we do bishop D3, king C2, rook C1, or something like that? But after the bishops were taken, suddenly he spotted that he could just castle shot. And I think after that, I'm just much worse.
I mean,
it's horrible.
Yes.
So, yeah, but I mean, we were so absorbed on this side. So that, and the last game, I don't even know what I was doing.
Finished the draw. Of course, the score is not so great for the moment, but this format gives you a chance tomorrow because every game will be 3 points. Are you looking forward?
Yes, in theory, I get another chance tomorrow.
Yeah. What are you going to do now after the end of this day? What is your routine in the evening?
I don't know. I don't have a routine. I mean, yesterday we finished much later. Today we're finishing earlier. So I'll do something.
Yeah.
And by the time I get a routine, the tournament's over. So it's a special event.
It's a good point. Thank you so much, Vishy, for being here with us.
Thank you.
And we go back to the studio.
Thank you, Anastasiya and Vishy. I've got a big moment. This is what Vishy was talking about in that interview. He said, kudos to Garry for spotting a move that he did not anticipate. Castles, and he suddenly realized to his horror that his king is stuck on the queen side and not escaping. He said he didn't like his position.
And that speaks to, again, the lack of experience and practice in chess 960. And you don't have that intuitive feel to recognize, oh, my opponent can still castle in that direction.
Yeah, exactly.
I got good news for you, Maurice.
What's that?
We got some bonus money. Let's take a look at how it's all counting up. Let's dive in to see the distribution of cash across games 11 and 12 tomorrow. With another $2,000 that was in play just a moment ago, we'll split it across those two games. An extra $1,000 apiece and $6,500 to each of those games, games 11 and 12, and still the possibility for that pot to grow from our first two games tomorrow, 9 and 10 of Rapid. Now, we'll come back and talk in just a bit, but we'd be remiss not to get a quick word from Garry. Anastasiya is standing by once again.
Yeah, here we are with Garry Kasparov. Garry, my congratulations to your leading in this match once again. It was a really interesting day. Can you please share with us your feelings?
Yeah, my luck, continues. Yeah, so I'm thinking that it was 960. So the certain positions where just you have to be very precise. So it's almost you have to make only moves, because when you play, what we call normal chess, so white can play E4, D4, C4, knight F3. Here is not the same. This is in many positions the first move, also on the other side. So this again, after D4 you can play knight F6, D5, E6, G6, C5, F5 even. Here is just you make the different move and position just immediately changes. So you have to be extremely precise. And I have to say the first day we look with Fabi at E4. So, and I just, and then I plays E6. And I realized that D4, D5, E5 doesn't work because of the F6. And otherwise, what is, and I play symmetrical. Actually, I have to say that this is my least favorite position. If you look at the statistics, that's where I just have the worst results, and I hate it. And I thought I had something, yes. Actually, there was a moment when I just, when I played, I thought I could, after bishop d7, I could play queen f3, and I thought I would be, better, because queen f3, and he cannot go queen f6, I take bishop g5. And then I play bishop f4, but knight e6, I just realized knight e6, and I cannot take on f7, my queen is trapped, and otherwise, then what my queen is doing with f3. And it was dead draw, and then I just, It's okay. I can't change my character, so I just decided. Actually, I just blundered that as a 5. She takes on a 5 and then a c5 because I just thought, oh, f4, g4, I go queen e6 check and slightly better endgame, slightly and the draw, of course. But at least I play. And after b6, I probably have to resign. And this is okay. Now c4 is only move, but queen c7, it's probably I don't +2 for black. It's winning.
And then this drama happened.
And I just it happened with me. So it's because I lost sense of clock and I just I looked at him. And he just, he was kind of, I don't know, it's just, he was out. I mean, he was calculating something. He said he will look for queen e7. And then, yes, then maybe after bishop c2, I still probably hold. Yes, that's the draw. But I saw queen c7, which is this most natural move. And I don't know, I have no idea what I was supposed to do. I would take on d5, but then it's cd4, d5, b4, queen e5, and... yeah, okay.
And then he lost on time, and I heard you were telling him, "I'm sorry, Vichy," at the end.
No, I'm sorry because that's not what I want. Because it's a lost position, and as I didn't. Yeah, I deserve to be punished because look, it's a draw, but I mean here I just also remember you don't have to offer a draw before move 60, and again it's obviously we could have Vichy was happy to repeat moves. And so it's a horrible game. So this is but actually the next 3 games, I mean, I'm pretty happy with what I did. And I played. Second game was, I mean, you have to check with machine, but I was very, I mean, this is a serious game. I mean, it was so dangerous for black. And I was proud that I found, because he expected me to collapse. After g4, he was already, I'm sure and fg4, knight e4, what I can do this. And then I think it just only moves. It was a5, this is the sacrificing the pawn, knight b6. And then I just was better. I nearly blundered the piece, queen takes g4, instead of queen d5. Rook takes e7, bishop b8 check. Well, this is, yeah, so that's the, yeah, but and I think the end game I had good winning chances, but I just, this is the, maybe I had to play for knight g5, h6, then h5 to put his knight on f7, further away from my pawn on h5. Game 3, it's just, yeah, I was very happy because I just, just played and something I'm missing. I thought, wow, wait a second, I can go, because typically you don't want to queen, to do short castle when your queen is on h1, but here it's just, it's h4, queen h2. It's perfect.
He missed the short castle.
Yes, short castle, h4, queen h2, and black is in trouble. Because he has to go long, and this is like his queen is on h8, and I immediately start attacking there. I mean, probably just, he doesn't have to blunder. But after e4, I think he's in big trouble. e4, e5, yes, that's why this knight b3, b6, but it's not a4. I think I had such a nice attack.
How did you estimate your position before he blundered with rook c7?
I think I was better. Yeah, no. It was. Also, it's this psychological. I think this of the castle h4. I could see that he was. I think it's because his queen is on h8, and he didn't like it. So this is, yeah, he was. You could see it on his face that he was not happy. So and game 4, I think probably I was winning, strategically, but yeah. It was actually very, very dangerous because this is knight f3. D4, d5, knight f3. The idea is after bishop b5, c4, probably white is winning. c4, dc4, e4, bishop c4, knight e5, and then white plays e4, knight, bishop c3, knight e3. It's probably winning. I don't know after knight f3 because what I did in the game 2, I think because I just quickly analyzed it. The guys can check it. Instead of playing a4, he could have played c4. dc4, knight 1, d2, and after b5, b3, and after knight queen b6, queen f1, and I didn't like the position, so I think this was miserable. I played knight f6. I think I was in trouble. I think but somehow he just played b4, and then he let me play the best move I made was knight e8, e4, f6. I was really proud that I found the idea of 6 and pawn on f4 is hanging, and when I played f5. Now I'm better, and I would have probably pushed, but I thought it's not fair to push. It's right. I'm not sure I had to play b5, but he would play d4, I think, at one point. So I wasn't sure, so I just decided exchanging queens was not necessary. I still could probably do a little bit, just, you know, I don't know how, but definitely I could keep, you know, sucking his blood. So this is the position was highly unpleasant for white. But it's hard to win. I just
Still, you have like 5 points lead at the moment, but tomorrow Vishy still has a chance since we have 3 points for the game.
I know. It's after game one I feel guilty because I don't know why I deserve this kind of luck. So this is just it's a game.
Seems like you are more surprised even than your opponent.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. Just, you know, this is because he was definitely waiting for me to exchange. You know, I mean, instead of stupid move, take on f5 and then queen e2, and he just plays queen e7, and we just, you know, so it's the expectations, and I just, you know, somehow this is bishop d1, g5.
That's why we love watching your games, Garry.
No, I just saw this as g4, f4, and that's what I saw. That's maybe now I'll create something. Yes, I'm doing just b6, f5, bishop f5.
Definitely,
because after b takes c5, and I could take on c5 maybe, or something. So then it's fun.
Absolute fun, and I'm sure that now all chess fans are analyzing all around the world your games of today. Tomorrow we are going to have the third day of the Clutch Chess. I wish you all the best of luck, Garry. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you very much, but I don't think I need any more luck. I'm very happy with the luck I have now, because again, I'm still, somehow I feel very uncomfortable. This is not kind of games. It's just game one. It was so stupid. I don't know. Maybe I did something good, and maybe Vishy did something bad, because this is this kind of karma. This is how can game.
Still looking forward for tomorrow. Yes.
I was very pleased with last 3 games. So and yesterday also, just, you know, it's amazing. Just when you come back and you realize that, you know, this is we play e4 in all 4 games, and that's the move that machine doesn't make. It's probably one of the worst moves, and the best answer is g5, of course, which nobody even It's amazing, you know. You have Vishy, myself, Fabio nobody look at g5, d4, d5, because black is probably slightly better already. We played e6, and okay, I don't have to blunder the piece, but because I calculated so many lines that I just couldn't figure it out, because because when I want to play, you know, after, which again, it's knight c3 yesterday. After knight c6, I want to play g3. That was just, you know, that's my intention.
So it means you were analyzing your previous
games? No. I sat there just at g3, and I just knight takes d4, bishop f1, bishop b4, bishop c4, and I just, you know, just with 2 minutes to go, I couldn't figure it out. So and then after bishop of queen f3, white is winning. Just, you know, queen f3, and that's it, and just immediate win, plus I don't know how 4. I mean, it's just massive win, and I just let this knight. Okay, I nearly resigned, but somehow I just, you know, managed to survive yesterday. So this is definitely plus 3 now. This is in normal human calculation. I mean, that's definitely, we shouldn't be there. So this is
Yeah, this is just unbelievable. Garry, thank you so much. I think after all these lines, now it's time to go to the studio and let our commentators to follow and check the games. Thank you once again, and see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Garry. And what was Garry saying? My nature. I cannot stop myself. This is the position what he was talking about, where he said himself, I should get punished. He played the move f4, and after b6, he suddenly realized, I should be lost. And he thought, okay, Vishy has a huge advantage. And he didn't get punished.
Still citing a bit of luck. And maybe he can thank his lucky stars for the results of that game, Viswanathan Anand, unfortunately letting it go due to time trouble. But I'd say he's made some of his own luck in the other games that we've seen out there, Maurice. He definitely feels like he's playing with a little bit more confidence, if anything, over Vishy.
Yes, he certainly is. But I have to say, it really is falling, it seems, on Vishy. The way this match has gone, the fact that he is not his normal, intrepid, incisive, insightful self. He's just not playing fast enough. He seems uncomfortable. He's playing a format that he hasn't played in many years, didn't get enough practice with it coming in, and didn't get into form. And that's what's happening right now. And Garry's being Garry. You can't blame him for making good moves and fighting. And even if he's in trouble, he's going to obviously not just give you the game. But Vishy, I don't like the way he ended that interview. He didn't seem like somebody who's saying, yeah, I'm coming back tomorrow. I got one other day, and I got some points that I could collect.
That's a good point. Form is temporary, class is forever, though, right? And so we'll see if Vishy can find his form tomorrow, because we know he is a classy player. And we will hope, beyond all hopes, that he can show up tomorrow and really make it a bit of a competition. We've got one more day of games ahead of us. It's tomorrow, Friday the 10th. Games 9 and 10 of Rapid, followed by games 11 and 12 of Blitz, before we crown a winner here for Clutch Chess, the Legends. All the action and coverage begins at 11:40 a.m. Central Time, so make sure you show up right on time, because you won't want to miss any of the action. We're going to shut the studio down. We'll be back here tomorrow, and we hope that you'll be here to join us. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and be good to each other. Good night.
Good night from St. Louis.
This has been a presentation of the St. Louis Chess Club. Any reproduction or distribution of this content without the express written consent of the St. Louis Chess Club is prohibited.